Shawn has agreed to join us tonight again because he had so much fun last week. He just
Oh yeah.
couldn't resist the chance to come on to Ostradamus Toys Live once again.
Mm.
But no, Shawn sent me a box down, and since last week we were talking more about the Mythic Legions, he wanted to send me some things, as you all heard last week. So it showed up, and we're going to dive into that. Also, Big Sis Carol, she sent me a package as well that I've been waiting for, and finally going to get a chance to crack that open. And I'll tell you guys all about the awesome thing it is. But before we dig into that, Shawn, let's say hi to everybody in the chat because they've been waiting for us,
Sure.
man. They
Absolutely.
have been waiting. So we've got Ray Black in the chat. She's saying hey to Master Versal. Guess he had popped in probably right before
Ah.
that. So that's great. Next, this guy, man, he showed up last night on Mega J Retro's stream, and he was just being a complete jerk.
Oh, now.
Nah, that Oz guy, he's pretty awesome actually. But last night I did jump on with Mega J for quite a bit,
That-
and that was actually a lot of fun. I got to finally meet Toy Connections Ken, so that was really cool. And he'll be doing his show tomorrow morning. It sounds like they're going to get into some wrestling talk, and he told me it was open invite, so I might jump on that. I'm not sure yet. I
Mhm.
guess it might depend on if whether I get my light fixed or not.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Duchess of Darkness here with us as always. Good to see you,
Uh-huh.
Duchess. Thank you for being here. Absolutely a pleasure to have you. And as always, guys, please, if you have not subscribed to Duchess's channel, head over there, give her a sub, give her a like, and Wicked Wednesdays. She posts other stuff throughout the week, but Wicked Wednesdays, you get a chance to actually sit down, talk with her a little bit more in the chat, get to see a lot of the people who are involved. Prowler, who is also a regular of the show, he writes a lot of the stories she tells, and it's a fun time, everybody. And especially if you're like me and you wish Halloween was all year round,
Mm-hmm.
every Wednesday you can have a little taste.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah,
For
I
holiday.
need it, man. It's the best one. So just some more back and forth. And we've got Masterversal Toy Hunter in the house. Hello, sir. Hope you are well this evening. Absolutely, brother. Glad to have you and good to see you again, man. So saying greetings all to the rest of the chat. And right down here, the man
Ah,
himself, Skelevator, is
Ellie.
here. Skelly, always a pleasure to have you in the chat, brother. Hey, if you got a minute and you want to jump on and join in this unboxing, let me know, brother. I will go ahead and throw you an invite. Always a pleasure to have you.
Mm-hmm.
All
Definitely.
right. Nolan is with us as well. Nolan, pleasure.
Cool.
Glad to have you.
Hi, Nolan.
And we've got Jay Peregrine with us as well, my good buddy who one of these weeks we're gonna get back to exercising every day again. I promise it's gonna happen. It's been rough since I've gotten back to work. It's been pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
So this upcoming week we're gonna get a fresh start on it. And we're gonna go every day, no
Nice.
skipping. So we got Skelevator jumping in. The lighting actually looks great in your room, Oz. I know because you can't really see everything behind me anymore. It's fantastic, isn't it?
It's more mysterious.
Ooh,
Got that Wizard of Oz kind of vibe about it to me.
there we go. There we go. So, yep. See, Ray talking about Duchess right there. I like watching and listening to her stories. It's true because it's
Mhm.
not just the listening. Duchess's voice can really pull you in and really, really kind of set that mood for you.
Mhm.
But the graphics and the images she posts along with the video as it plays, it it just really, really sets that mood even further, and I love it. It's fantastic. Duchess, you always do a great job every week, and thank you for putting in all that hard work that you do. And okay, so that actually seems to be just about everybody who's joined with us now, unless for some reason the chat's not loading anymore. And that's okay, because I know more will filter in as the night goes on. And you're getting a shout out from, of course, several people have been saying, hey, here we go, straight from Eldor himself. Hello
Yes.
there, Sean, sir.
Hello there. Good to
And
see you again.
And Nolan stating it was a long week, but things at work are finally starting to slow down. This was the last Saturday until spring. Well, that's fantastic news. I'm glad to hear it, Nolan. Hopefully, the rest of the season will move smoothly for you, sir. And Duchess giving a big thank you. Absolutely, Duchess. Again, thank you for the hard work you put in because I need that Halloween all throughout my year. So, and then JMax77 joining with us saying, greetings, guys. See, I knew more people were on the way.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Always is. It's good to have you, JMac. Thank you for being here. And if you enjoyed last week's episode about Mythic Legions, this week's going to be fun because we're going to actually open up some more and see what more stuff we got. So I am really pumped to be doing that. Uh, so Shawn, it's been a week. How'd things go? How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was pretty nice, pretty low key, but pretty nice. My mom dropped by, so she hasn't seen the kids in months. So
Okay.
my son had her go to his room and they played with their stuffies. And every
Okay.
time he comes to visit, he wants her to play stuffies with him, and
Sure.
she got to hang out and talk to my daughter. So it was pretty nice on that level. And otherwise, low key. I was trying to do some illustration this afternoon, and I'm going to work on it after we're done here. And it's like getting into, like you said, exercising, flexing the muscles, all that.
Yeah.
Like there are people out there that are like, I'm not a horrible artist, but I'm like, man, if I could actually do this every day, I'd be more where I wish I would be versus where I am right now. And that's
I
one of
know
the hardest
exactly
parts.
what you mean.
So,
I, I come through these waves where it's like, this is all I want to do is I just want to sit here and just do my art and I want to draw and everything like that. And then it's like I'll finish whatever it is I'm working on and I'll look at it and I'll critique it and I'll be like,
mhm,
yeah, for next time, I know what I could do just to make a little bit of technique difference to, fine
mhm,
hone that skill. And then it never goes into practice and I put it down for months and I won't come back to it. And then months
mhm.
from now, I'll be like, man, I really want to go do that. And it's like, but if I just kept up on it instead,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
that's the
know?
worst part. Like, I'm doing digital art, so I'm working in
Hmm.
Procreate on the iPad, and
Okay.
I was doing Photoshop about a decade ago. And I had the Wacom tablet. Like, it wasn't one of those that you drew on it and it looked like the screen. It was one of the here's the tablet. You're still looking at the monitor.
Yeah, that's what I
Uh,
use. It's
y-
slate tablets.
yeah, and it was working pretty well. But then that one eventually, it was given to me by a friend. That one eventually kind of died after a while.
Oh
And then
no.
I finally got an iPad last year for Christmas. But the problem is, I work from home. And when you work from home, there is no guarantee that you have free time if you're including family time, kids, everything else going on. So, like, I've only been able to crack the code on Procreate maybe, like this much compared to what I was hoping to this year. But
Sure.
it's getting a rhythm, I think, and I really want to get there because it's one of the few things I got going for me. It's not the good looks, so it's like, hey, let's
What are
put
you
some art
talking
down.
about, man? You're the total package. I mean,
Oh, no, no, no.
I resemble that look. So
You do, but trust me on this one. I'm 40. I'll be 40. I'm 44, going on 45, and I'm just like, just stick to drawing, kid. That's what you got.
well, and a sense of humor. Come on.
Oh, well, yeah. That's why the douche keeps me around on our show, even on Legends. So yeah, that's how it works.
What's the meme say? Funny guys are dangerous. I have you ha 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 laughing, 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 and then boom, you're naked. So
That
we
I
beat
do
the
that to
looks.
myself, unfortunately. It's like, ah, oh god, I'm naked. Now I'm gonna
And
laugh harder.
yeah, I was gonna say either laugh harder or I cry after that. So
There's a lot of crying too, but we won't get into all that stuff. But we want to have it be a positive episode, and we're not going to do that to ourselves.
that's right. That's right.
So,
No crying this episode. I mean, tears of joy are
tears
welcome,
of joy.
but
Yes.
tears of laughter and humiliation, no. Not
No,
today.
no, no, no. We won't do that. We won't do that to ourselves today.
Wait, we got Skelevator here chiming in. 44 looks get better from there, Shawn. See? Look, there we go.
I got.
Skelevator's got the vote of confidence.
I'll tell you what though. Like, I found a photo when I turned 36, and this was dark.
Yeah.
It's grown out over the last couple of weeks. And now when I grow it out, I'm like, oh, I'm training to be Santa now. Oh, this is not good.
Okay. So
Yeah.
because you said that, hold on a second. I gotta find this on my computer and I'm gonna share it with everybody.
Oh, you're gonna have like old school. Okay, I got to see this.
Hold on. I gotta remember if it's even on the computer or if it's just something on my phone. If it is, I'd have to send it to myself and then I can do a share screen.
Ah, gotcha.
But yeah, because I can't remember if. Oh man, Skelly, you know what popped up when I just pulled up my file folder? That new Skelevator that I made. Oh man, that thing looks nice.
Yeah,
It's not
very
all
nice.
original, people. Don't give me too much credit. But
It looks
I don't.
good. I mean,
Yeah,
you got the components all together, and because the just recently, when I was working on, I'm still working on it, to be honest. The Legends of Grayskull logo I want to get done and put on T-shirts, coffee cups, what have you.
yeah,
I was thinking about that for him and going like, maybe I'll try my hand at that if I can get this one done. Well, that one never got finished, so I never went forward. And then when I saw what you did, I'm like, I don't need to anymore. That works. That's great.
yeah, yeah. It was. I'm not sure if I want to admit it on live, but what the heck? So it was work was really, really dead yesterday. Um, I take calls and I schedule appointments,
Hmm.
and so everybody figures for the most part, you're closed on day after Thanksgiving.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so for the most part, except for a lot of clinical, um, there was definitely not a lot of calls coming in.
Hmm.
And because of that, I went ahead and just kind of picked up my personal laptop and started
Hmm.
doing some things here and there in between the calls because there's really nothing else I can do. I'm just sitting there waiting for the calls to come in.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I threw that together and a couple other things. But since you mentioned Santa in training, here we go, folks.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. The thing you never knew you wanted. There it is. That is Oz in his Santa suit, folks. And as you know, we are getting into the season, so expect some joy and jolliness on Toy Frenzy as you sit in with the Santa Claus himself.
Very cool. That brought joy to
Yep.
me. I mean, geez, I didn't expect that on this episode.
Well, it was funny, because a couple years ago, with COVID, friends of mine did not want to. Oh, Skelly's got it here. He's saying Oz Santa. Actually, I prefer to think of it calling it Ozzy Claus, Ozzzy, like the singer, and Claus, Claws.
There you go.
Um, but yeah, with COVID, a lot of a couple of my friends did not want to take their kids to the mall that year, and
Mhm.
at least the first time they didn't. So they asked if I would be offended. And they had no clue that for years I wanted a good Santa suit myself. It's actually the whole reason that I grew the beard out because this
Mhm.
next one I'm about to share. So this is a slight bit of photo editing right here, folks. There's Ozzy Claus in the workshop.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. The mask helps cover what's
Yep.
messed up, and then a friend of mine, Ray, she photoshopped the eyebrows on, so they looked a little bit better. But there he is with the full beard, that faux beard.
I love
Um, but here is what I wasn't showing, and why there is no beard. This ridiculous photo. Uh, Here it is. that mustache would not stay up. It kept falling, even with
No.
spirit gum and everything. That thing would not stay up. So I told myself, you know what? Next year, I am going to grow it out. And unfortunately, right before Christmas time, I actually trimmed it all off. Well, not
Mhm.
all off. I trimmed it down. Um, so I didn't have the full bushy beard effect. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to beat myself up because next year is the year I will have the full bushy Santa beard and I'll just have to run some gray dye through it.
Yeah.
And then I started going into interviews for this job that I have now. I had to trim the beard down after almost a full year of growth. I had to trim it up and put it back into its place, and it's just starting to really kind of grow out again now. So I'll have a little bit more growth by the big day. But there you go, folks. Ozzy Claus in all of his glory.
I'm picturing it a little like if you saw the Santa Claus or Evan Almighty, you had to trim it, but then the next day, it's back out to
I
the real
I really wish it did grow that fast, man. I wish it did. I wish it could have just came back that quick. It would have been great. So there you go, folks. Little slideshow. Santa Claus is coming to Toy Frenzy this year, folks. Ozzy Claus will be there.
Nice.
All right. And Thanos Copter has jumped in. Hey guys, I'm late to the party and can't stay, but I wanted to pop in, hit the like, and say hi. Well, thank you, Thanos Copter. Really appreciate you jumping in and doing that, man. I really, really do appreciate it. So hopefully you'll be able to rejoin later. You know, these things tend to go a little long because we do stuff like stop and look at pictures of Oz in a Santa Claus costume. So, I mean, it's kind of toy related, right? Right?
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, Santa's like that guy. He'll hook you up. I mean,
I'm
like that's the
just
thing.
saying.
If there was ever a person that makes more sense to play Santa, it's a guy who's on YouTube talking about toys every week. So why
Isn't it?
not? It's like one on one obviously makes two. Let's do this. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, the whole idea of this is that I love toys. I love talking about them, and I love spreading the joy of
Yeah.
toys. And we all have these moments. Like tonight, you sent some of your toys down to me. You're
Mhm.
sharing that joy. You're spreading that joy, and that's what it's all about here. So, there's no more of a fitting place for the spirit of Christmas than in a
Absolutely.
toy talk show.
Absolutely.
As we all complain about the fact that we can't get the toys that we really want.
I love that meme that comes up where it's the He-Man one where he's looking two ways, and it's like the person at Target said, "Oh, your kids are gonna love these toys. These will be great for their presents this year." It's like, yeah, my kids, right? Sure, it'll be my
Yeah.
kids getting these.
Yeah, totally the kids, all the kids.
Totally the kids.
Actually, no, my son is right now he is like so excited. He got Mini Comic Stratos. That's his first Origins toy.
Nice.
And he is very happy because I Santa Claus and I last year managed to get him several of the CGI line and he liked those. But their dog chewed it up.
Hmm.
So this year I'm
Oh,
working with Santa Claus on getting him, yeah, man, the dog chewed up He-Man and Skeletor.
ouch.
So I know. Um, so this year, working on getting him some more, and now that I know he wants Origins more than CGI, we're going to do the best I can to get him what he needs, and Ozzy Claus is going to pull through.
Nice.
So I wanted to point out the fact that Ray Black has also said her phone battery is dying, so I'll just watch from the TV, but I'll still be here. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate you still watching, even if you can't be in the chat. But I know Nolan will be here and he'll chime in for you as much as possible. And then we have Eldor, Master Versal Toy Hunter. Yes, can't wait to get old Afarius either next week or the week after. But yes, Shawn, I decided to jump on that Centaur figure I mentioned in the 101 live. Well, all did a while back.
Nice.
So yeah, he'll be having videos soon with his. I know. Well, actually, by the next time we're doing our next episode of it'll be Mythic 201, folks. We're graduating to the next class after the
Hmm.
previous one. We're going to dive more into the lore, and
Yeah.
we'll have some figures to go over the lore of those characters, which is going to be really great. But yeah, he's saying he'll have a proper show and tell for next time there. And yes, been leaning a wee bit more and join the cabal there. I saw that. I saw you pop up in there, Master Versal. I've been watching. And he created his own Mythic Legions collector group for us Mythic New Zealander fans. Nice.
Ah,
Awesome. That's a great idea. Start the community for your area,
mm-hmm.
get ahead of it, and then you guys will have like your own version. I mean, the cabal is going to be worldwide, but
Yep.
still, like, this way you'll at least have like a local one to help each other out who are all interested in the area. So that way, if everybody's trying to go all in on a box or something like that, and there's
Yeah.
only certain ones you want, it'll help you guys save a lot on shipping that way. I know a lot of people are grouping together to get these big boxes of things to save a lot on the shipping. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a very good call, and way to go, man. Really, really awesome job.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it says, well, it's not over there, not over yet there, Oz, as you and your son will have a few more goodies coming all the way from Eternia soon.
Oh,
That's right. And thank you very, very much, Master Versal Toy Hunter. He and I know what's coming, but we'll definitely show that off in a future upcoming video. Because as everybody keeps sending me stuff, man, it's like one of the things I like is doing these unboxing videos from all of you guys showing it. I know Skelly, he's been doing quite a few of them on Sundays, and I love watching people when they get these packages and they open it and you see the joy on their face as they get these. Uh, so I enjoy sharing that as well. That
mm-hmm.
ability to be like, you guys sent me this. I want you to see how happy it makes me when I get it, and see what you sent me. And Carol has finally joined us.
Aha.
Uh, how's it going, Carol? As a matter of fact, your package that you sent is the first one to be opened tonight. And since you're here, I guess it's a perfect time to jump in. So I've been waiting for this. I've talked about it before. I'm pretty sure I've even said what it is before in previous. But in case you all forgot, actually, I'm going to move Shawn's box down first and then grab this box over here. So they really did a job taping this up here. So we're going to go ahead and cut into this guy.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yes. So I do want to be a little bit careful because I don't know exactly where the item is, but is this thing glued too?
That'd be
It's like
hysterical.
glued and taped?
Let's
No.
mess with
The blade just decided to cut through where it's corrugated, so that's
Okay.
all. I was like, why does that feel like, wow? Who did that? All right. Well, apparently it's also going to be about time to sharpen my blade, as it doesn't seem to be gliding through the tape as nicely as it did. But considering I haven't had to hone this blade for, oh God, Corey Pop's normally with us. He's not here tonight, or Corey Berger, and I can't remember when he bought me this knife, but considering it was something it's not like some big name brand knife like a good Kershaw or something like that, or a Buck. It's simply just whatever was at this hardware store he was going to,
Mm-hmm.
and they had them like for like $3 up at the front.
Sure.
And it's supposed to be like a little tactical knife. There's a flashlight on this side. It's got a seatbelt cutter right there on the back. It's
Okay.
got the little diamond on the bottom, so you break the
Mm-hmm.
glass and you see the little compass on there. So for like, I can't even remember how much it was. It was really ridiculously cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and it quickly became one of my favorite blades. It's very sturdy. It's a wonderful blade.
I need to get
Uh,
at some point. I have an exacting knife. That's pretty much what I use every time. But I feel
mhm.
like I kind of need one of those so I feel more manly because it always feels too artistry to be cutting.
It was so
It's like,
delicate.
yeah, it's a delicate blade, but there I'm good. Oh my god, half my film is on the floor now. But it's like to pull it. It reminds me that you call that a knife. that ain't a knife. You know, that
One
kind
of
of
my
thing.
favorite lines
The
of a
Crocodile
movie.
Dundee deal, yeah.
Yeah, one of my most favorite lines of all time from a movie is that line. Crocodile Dundee was one of my most favorite movies as a kid, and Paul Hogan absolutely adored him after that. And folks, we have another special guest joining us tonight. He decided to join us for this momentous occasion. We've
Ah,
got Skelly in the house, and he is bringing the Christmas cheer. I
Santa
love it.
Beer.
And he's got the red shirt. I'm rocking. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a little harder to tell with this, but this is a dark, like hunter green here. Wow. Wow.
Hey, you invited me, and I'm like a vampire. You invite me on, and I got to come in.
That's right. That's right. As a matter of fact, and give us all just a little bit more space here so that we don't seem so crammed together like that. So
Also,
in any case,
I'm also really excited to see what Carol sent your way.
oh yeah, I've been waiting for this for a while. Now she had told me right off the bat when she found it, I was blown away with the cost. But this right here, as the glare is terrible, finally, new Eternia Beastman,
Beautiful,
everybody. Now,
beautiful.
here it is. This is the damage on the side of the box there.
Oh yeah,
It's a little dented in here and a little dented in up at the top. But as we all know, I'm an opener.
yeah. Get that thing open.
Yeah.
So my sister, no, it washes it out. She found this thing in her flea market while it's still sitting on the shelves at Target, has not gone on clearance yet. And by the way, the fans are cheering because Skelly is here on Ostradamus Toys Live, as opposed
Oscar.
to me being on Skelevator's channel for a live. It happens sometimes, folks. Not often, but sometimes. So, Skelly, I'm glad you could join us.
I can't stay for a very long time, but I really wanted to come on, and it's great to see you guys here. And
Absolutely,
Likewise.
man. I
Likewise.
am always happy to have you.
yeah,
So I was saying, she got this for $12.
that's amazing.
Mhm.
It's $32.99 still sitting on the shelves. I've seen prices of it in other areas were different. It's funny, depending on the area you're in, like some people are seeing this thing like in upwards of $40, and that's here in the US, not in Canada.
Mhm.
So like that really, really surprises me the difference in cost. Oh my gosh, man. I've seen it in everybody's videos. This dude is massive. And
Oz,
and
Oz, how's his teeth?
okay, hang on.
Usually the paint is
Oh,
off on the teeth.
he's got some blue.
Yeah,
Dude looked like he ate some Splashers gum. Y'all remember that gum?
yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Everybody remembers that gum, man. No matter what you had that day, your mouth was going to be a different color by the end of it.
yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, now I'm down to these pets. Yeah, his teeth are blue.
That's too bad. Well,
Yeah.
just get some acrylic paint and fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. A little touch up is not going to do any harm to this guy. I mean, God, he is such a meaty figure. I remember back when I used to collect the Halo toys from McFarlane, and the Brute characters
Mm.
were. I thought those guys were pretty weighty and pretty meaty, and they got nothing on this guy.
Hmm.
So, because the box was dented, the plastic is dented up a little bit in here, which is actually making it harder to cut these straps. But I just can't wait to get this guy out of the plastic here because he's massive. I am impressed. And Ray from Collecting Classics showed us that Too Bad towers over just about everything.
I wonder how. That's one thing I wanted, like Ray to show, since he's pretty much the only person that has him right now. Except I think Toy Habits they posted.
Toy Habits picked it up.
But I'd love to see a comparison between this Beastman and the Too Bad.
Oh man, and he feels like the joints, the stiffness is just right. Like it's not too difficult. Like, they're a little stiff,
Mhm.
but in that good way.
Mhm.
How's the right shoulder?
It's funny you mentioned that because that was actually the one I was like, this one feels a little tight. Like a little tight, almost like ratchety, but not quite.
Is it a little the problem I had with mine, I noticed that other people were having was that if you take the fur off, it looks like it's like kind of floating in the socket,
Like a gap.
like a gap.
That might have been what I was feeling there. I definitely have one of the ones that still had the wonky chest color,
Oh,
like that
okay.
wash that they did. So
Yeah.
this must have been one of those early ones.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and pop this off real quick because I want to take a look at that. See, it's great when you have a guide to like let you know, hey, I had this problem, or hey, I had this problem.
Yeah.
But I was there. I watched his video and I was super excited for it.
It's such a great figure. Shawn, have
It
you
really is.
I know you're hesitant to head in that direction, but have you held one of those in your hands yet?
I honestly, I haven't. I don't get out that often anyway, but I've seen them at Target.
Yeah.
But the price point is usually what Oz was saying, like 32 to 35 in
Yeah.
my area. And then when I'm seeing all these people that are posting, they're getting it for about 20 or less.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I kind
Wait
of
for it to go
the
on
waited
clearance.
out game because that's one of the new Eternia figures where I'm like I'd be tempted. And most of the new Eternia stuff actually is like making me go, it's fun because they're doing something that I don't know what to expect out of a line finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that actually works for me a little better than like Origins or whatnot because I already know those lines from my childhood for the most part. But yeah, that I would love to hold one because when he's saying how hefty he is now, I'm like, how heavy is this figure? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Comparatively, he's got some weight. So if you
Yeah.
look, both of his shoulders on mine appear to be floating a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I see that. It's still the right one's a little bit more.
A little bit more. Yeah.
Strange strange.
You can see right here, it's like hefted up a little bit higher
Yeah.
than the other one. But even the left one, like there's this gap
Yep.
and it's noticeable.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because normally you don't see that with their Masterverse stuff.
Yeah, it's a
It must
strange
have just, go ahead.
it's a strange decision on their part. It almost feels like a rushed job, but I feel like there must be some kind of logic behind it, but I can't quite pinpoint what that logic is.
Right. So it might have just been the fact they did rush it out or something to try and get
Yeah.
him out there to start hitting the shelves around the same time that we got the new Eternia Skeletor and the new Eternia He-Man to go with.
Mhm.
But now I've got all the initial, thanks to you, Skelevator, for getting that Zodak. But now I've got all of the first run new Eternia guys. So I still got to catch up on a couple of the other ones, but I'm really excited for this, really happy. Um, and to have gotten them both in the same week too, that feels so good. And I love all the extra armor and everything for it. As a matter of fact, Shawn, with your classics, do you still have Beastman?
Yes.
See, I think these would be some really neat additions to put to a classics Beastman buck and mold and see how he looks with
Yeah.
again those concept elements from Mark Taylor that we all know we hold so dear because Mark
Yeah.
Taylor's concepts were some of the greatest looks for this. I love the fact he comes with this giant club now too.
Mhm.
I love that. He's still got the really cool whip. But what an outstanding figure. Instantly a favorite of mine out of New Eternia. So I'm going to jump back in here into the chat because we got J Mac cheering because, cheer, cheer. That's right. Skelevator bringing the holiday cheer. And Duchess giving you the shout out, Skelly. So, got here. I've never seen one with a proper mouth
Yeah.
paint. Well, that's good to know. Good to know.
I saw one on the shelf, and it was the proper colored buck too.
Okay.
Um, but I haven't seen one since, and I I look all the time.
Yeah, lately, all the ones that I've seen are still like these
Yeah,
original kind of guys.
yeah,
Like they came in and they just kind of been sitting there because I think everybody's gotten used to the Masterverse stuff going on sale or clearance relatively quickly, like Shawn was saying. So I think people are really just trying to wait it out.
Yeah.
And J Max saying, but an easy paint fix. Well, considering I'm new to the paint stuff, like that might be one of those first things I attempt to do is fix my Beastman.
Yeah.
And Masterversal with, yes, I've just put my new Eternia Beastman beside me there to have a bit of a pose around. Yeah. And if I'm starting to get too cluttered of a desk with toys now, it helped on Friday though. It did.
Good.
But yes, the right shoulder on mine is a bit more popped out there, shall we say. Okay. See, it's universal all the way around. Indeed, the figure looks awesome. I love it when my catchphrase is catching on. This is great, guys. Still though, I suppose. Remember, hashtag awesome. Like that's my top tier rating. You know, if something I think is like phenomenal or above that awesome level, it's just awesome. And it's
Nice.
catching on too. Other people are
Nice.
using it. And I'm okay with that. Branding is everything.
Yeah, that's
When I
true.
get it copyrighted, I'm gonna have a crap ton of nickels. All right, so we're gonna put Beastman aside here. Wait to play with him a little bit later. I'll tell you what, I'm collecting enough boxes and packing material. I'm just gonna start, running distribution out of my house. I'm gonna go to all the toy stores, round up all their inventory, and just start distributing. People, hit my PayPal up. Instead of the stereotypical drug dealer with the coat full of like whatever, I'm gonna hold mine open. It's gonna be Origins toys and everything else. I'm gonna be like, "What you need, homie? I got what you need."
I've become a cardboard hoarder.
You just start to feel it after a while. You never know.
Yeah, I have a lot of cardboard around, a lot of boxes, a lot of packaging.
Carol's saying that she repurposed the Home Depot box.
Oh, cool.
If you if you guys saw, my sister was posting a lot of the new stuff she got around Halloween time. Tons and tons of Halloween decorations. And I'm sure she had plenty of these Home Depot boxes sitting around. And just she just took one of those, and that's what it got shipped in. So
That's
thank
awesome.
you, by the way, Carol. Is awesome. What a great find! Like seriously.
An amazing price.
Yeah. Like I say, the flea markets around here, I'm never that lucky because they all know what they have and they're charging that. All right, so everybody, I've opened Shawn's box. I haven't completely opened it yet, and I'm a little nervous here. I'm excited. I'm just building up the drama for it. Carol saying the Halloween decor has taken over my garage. I believe it. She still has that 12-foot skeleton outside, but decoed for Christmas.
Nice.
Which
Beautiful. Perfect.
that's the way you do it, folks.
That is. Shawn, I have to say I'm really excited to see what you sent us.
Oh my goodness. So let's pull out a little bit of some of the packing stuff here. There is I got one of them dwarfy dudes. I don't know his name yet. Horseman.
So basically what I ended up doing, and you'll see, so that is the deluxe barbarian builder.
The deluxe barbarian.
So he's one of the newest ones that has come out, and basically those like you were saying about painting, if you felt like trying, you could actually do some damage on that too, because those have basically a good primer already, just from the company. You can go in there and do like some gunmetal on them, or whatever you want to do, and you don't really have to prime those as much. You could just go for it. So I haven't done it to mine personally, but a lot of people have been saying these are great tryouts if you want to start customizing and painting.
Nice.
Well, that's good because I got my paints and stuff like that, so I'm gonna have to get that going here soon. Now, go ahead, Skelly.
A starter kit.
Yeah.
Basically, like these just came out. Typically, you can find them for about $40 to $45 wherever. they're being offered through other like third-party retailers right now and stuff. I forget. I think they were 35 when they were initially offered through the Horseman, or maybe 40, depending, because of the
Okay.
deluxe aspect of it. Because you do
Right.
get a little bit extra on those compared to what you might get from the original Legion builders that they offered
Hmm.
years back. But yours is a deluxe for a reason, because when you pull out another thing in there, I know you're going to find some goodies.
Okay. Okay.
The one, I will say, the one plastic card in there was just so that it didn't shake constantly when they were moving it. So if you think there's three things, it's
That
only
was this thing.
exactly. So I'm sorry if that even gave you like a, oh, there's three. Oh, no, there's two. But I was
No,
like,
no.
that's going to at least prop them so that it's not going to be a problem with it shifting constantly on
Right.
the trip.
I've done that before.
Oh, okay.
So
So, and
what that is, if I, yeah,
a little
what
hard to say. I'm gonna
what you
go
got
full screen.
there, yeah, go full screen.
There we go.
So
Wow.
what you have there is the almost all the accessories from the original Barbarian Legion builder, the 1.0. He came with so much stuff that you basically need 3 to 4 figures to get a sense of everything you can do with that figure.
Okay.
I had many of them since I've been collecting, because those are my favorite figures because of the amount of things you get for it at the price point. Which, when I got into the line, they were over $200 on eBay, but they re-released them, and now
Okay.
you can get them if you can go to a New Jersey convention at some point. They're $60 a pop,
Oh,
and
nice.
you get swords, shields, spears, two different heads. So you get a like a barbarian helmet, and then you get a helmet that has the helmet but a huge beard coming out of the bottom.
Yeah, I
You get
see that.
multiple pauldrons, so you can have one that's a little more like a knight-looking style pauldron, and then the other pauldron look more like a barbarian, where if he ran at you with that thing, you would probably lose your whole head. And I'm trying to think. There's some other things, but basically, the things that you could put into the helmet. There's horns. There's wings. There's all sorts of different things. And one of the things that I was saying I forgot because of trying to put that all together are these,
Ooh.
Oh, the stag horns. Yeah,
the
I've
stag
seen
horns.
those.
So I have to get these to you to make it complete for all the stuff I put in there, because I completely
Okay.
forgot the stag horns.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be down to get those because I was eyeing those up. I like antlers. I like this whole man of the forest kind of thing. Like, I'm
Yep.
eyeing up the axe that he has,
Mm-hmm.
kind of in his belt right off the back in
Yep.
here. And I'm like,
Yep.
I like that axe. I like this huge sword he's got with him.
Yeah.
But this,
That thing that does come with him. The figure itself comes with. He has the trident, and then he has that huge sword, and he has that like a hand axe that he uses. But then I also gave you the battle axe that a lot of Legion's characters have come with. And I'm trying to think. I didn't give you the barbarian swords though, because I figured that sword kind of took care of everything. The one that he had.
I
So,
think so.
but
Well,
I wanted to make it that when you got them, you could really just go, here's all the things that you can start playing around with, and give you some options just within the character. And I don't did I give you, I don't know. You'd have to look at what I gave you. I forget some of what I gave you at this point, but I know I gave you the two heads from the barbarian pack,
yeah,
so
I
you can
see
use
those.
those in tandem with the one you have. So whichever one you like the best, there you go. And just go for it and just start, popping, swapping, as we call it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, we're gonna get a bit of that tonight while we're here, because as Skelevator likes to do when he does his live openings, he's always tormenting everybody. Should I open it? Should I open it? And and we're gonna open it. We're gonna take an in-depth look at some more of these pieces, really show off what they come with. Because again, I know there's a lot of people here who aren't necessarily like all in on Legions yet, and I'm not saying I want you all to get all in on Legions. I just want to show you what you get and the kind of prices they are when you can pre-order them. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't mind the wait for when they come out, I still say they're faster than Super 7.
Yeah.
So going to jump back in and catch up with the chat a little bit, and then we're going to jump into getting into what's in these packages. So Masterversal started. Sadly, the old bubble wrap and boxes has dried up here a wee bit, as I've not had much in lately from old poster there. Haha, yeah, it happens. And jumping in with the ooh, exciting. Wow, super cool of you, Shawn. That's a fun one. Well, JMac, absolutely. We're gonna have some fun with it tonight, I guarantee. And yes, been learning a few of the painting method from Mythic Customs channel there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, God, just being in the cabal and seeing what some people are doing in there, like guys, they've taken it beyond just like these core characters. Like people are really world building
Yeah.
with these
Absolutely.
figures. You've got people customizing villagers, and they're taking parts from like Masterverse figures too. I've seen in there too now. It's really an awesome place to be and see what everybody's working on.
Mm-hmm.
So Thanos Copter, he couldn't resist. He heard Skelly was here with the Santa hat and needed to come back. And I agree. Absolutely agree.
Anybody know where to get Santa hats that fit action figures?
Mm.
Uh, who just came out? Who's the brand that just came out with the Naughty and Nice line? Have you guys seen those?
I,
Mm-mm.
Okay, hang on a sec. Detour time. Oz loves these detours, we all know. I was doing this last night for Jay. We'd start talking about something. He'd be like, "Ooh, what's that?" Oz, go look that up real quick. I
Yeah.
was his guy in the chair, as they
the
say.
guy in the chair.
Yep.
You're Ned.
Yes, I am the Ned, which is funny. If you think of the dynamic, that's really funny. Naughty or nice Santa toys. See if I can hit this. Actually, if somebody knows in the chat, oh, here it is. Big Bad Toy Store, Naughty or Nice collection. I wonder if they come with the hats uh, outside of this. Now, this is really cool. Go here, and we're going to share this. So for you guys that haven't seen these, so this is the Naughty or Nice collection
Oh,
classic Santa figure. And once it wants to come up, now that I've clicked on that. So they have a version of him without his hat on, but it does not look like they have the hat
no,
separately.
no separate hat.
Hmm.
You know, your sister said something in the chat though.
Okay, let's bring it down here. So we had Masterversal saying nice weapons pack, some hated Thanos and hated Duchess. Welcome back. And welcome to the house of Noble
Yeah.
Bear Oz. And that is perfect for me because as Oz is one of my main nickname that everybody calls me, uh, the bear is my other nickname. So that really works for me. So just catching up more with Thanos Copter here. Uh-oh, we had a COVID outbreak and I had to go another facility to pick up extra COVID tests.
Oh no, Thanos, sorry, that stinks.
Here's the good news though. He tested negative, but we've got an entire station quarantined and some positive workers. I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope for all of them to have a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Get Elf on the Shelf stuff. Okay. Yeah, because you know
Yeah.
what? They have those packs, like clothing packs that you can buy for Elf on the Shelf. I'll look it up in just a second. I did want to show off more of these naughty or nice lines because, again, if you guys have not been looking at these are incredible. Let me see here and just we'll do naughty or nice collection right now. I hear Skelly clicking over there, so he's already looking up Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything out there. I apologize. I'm waylaying you all by having that thought, but
Not at all.
exciting to see.
So here's Krampus.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I clicked on the image.
Okay,
There's what
so
he comes with.
Krampus has soft goods,
Yeah.
but not Santa.
But here's the funny part too. You look and you see this check mark here. They do tick off whether they are naughty or nice. And Krampus is part of the naughty list.
That's a
And
stir.
I'm loving this line. I forget where I ended up seeing it pop up, and for some reason now it's not even loading them. Oh, don't do this to me, BTS. Don't do it. Just hit that search again. We've got Zombie Santa.
Zombie Santa.
Zombie Santa is a thing, folks.
Oh my god. Now see that would make the Santa Claus a whole different movie.
Yeah. But this version also includes the evil Santa Claus head, some other hands to go with it, and he's got these green cookies with black milk,
Oh my.
coal, and an axe.
Black milk.
Ugh.
And as we all know, my favorite color scheme is straight up purple and green. And look at this present he comes with. I love it.
You. There you go.
Now hold on. We're not done. We've got a Terminator Santa. You know,
jingle.
I think I should really probably hold off on looking at too much more of this, and we'll just save it for like an episode of Toy Frenzy where we'll dive into unique Santa toys or something. But I did want to bring it up because you were looking for soft goods or a Santa hat, and I was hoping maybe we'd have one. But
the best thing is you're ending it on that one, and now you get to say, "I'll be back." Because I'm gonna be back on another episode.
All right, everybody, you got to see my new movie, Jingle All the Way. It's full of the holiday fun, family cheer for everybody.
That's
I punched
good.
a reindeer. Those are my cookies. Put the cookie down.
The thing that I love to do, and my wife hates this, is like, I'll say to my kids, "What are you gonna do today?" or whatever. What, I don't know, Dad. What, to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. And then my wife's just like, "What are you teaching them? These are the ways of crime." You know? To hell with you if you don't know crime. You know.
That's right. That is right. Oh my God, it's perfect. Yeah,
I still watching that movie when I was a kid was a whole enlightening experience. Let me tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've talked about before on an episode somewhere of something, I used to do a lot of prank calls. And I listened to. Does everybody remember E-Bombs World? They had those Arnold Schwarzenegger sound bites that they would do prank calls from.
Yeah.
I listened to them for hours on end just so I could get the nuances and try to get the fluctuations in my voice properly. And then I started calling up people in California. The problem with this was I did not realize that Arnold apparently would call people randomly and check, like, ask them how they thought he was doing, which is what I was doing. I'll never forget.
Hysterical on so many levels right now.
So, and one time, I'd just seen him on like the Tonight Show or something, and he was talking about proposition number 9. He was telling people they got to vote yes on proposition number 9, and one lady was like, "Proposition number 9, what's that?" And I was like, "The one after 8." I couldn't remember what it was, but I was just going with it.
That's amazing.
It was a lot of fun as I'm admitting to crimes online. You should not be doing this, but
The one after 8. I love it.
The one after 8. You have to vote yes on your proposition number 9.
I had no idea you were so good at impressions.
That was the best.
Well, as one of my all-time heroes once said, I spent 30 years on the rock, and you don't have much time to do anything but make funny voices into the microphone. The name's
Exactly,
Bond.
Alex.
James Bond.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
Suck
are
it,
you guys doing
Trumpback.
Stratos?
No, it's pretty
Yeah.
close, isn't it? He did sound like Sean Connery a
Yeah,
lot.
totally.
I never thought until 2000X that I'd hear Sean Connery say something stinky. Like
Yeah,
that one episode with the Stinkor
I
episode.
know.
I'm like, that's awesome.
I know.
So, here we are. So, yes, as you know, there, Oz, I have a few more Mythic pre-orders at Big Bad Toy Store there, and Web Store and Stratos tributes there, and our Karagar, Tharnog, Thrace, Haler, Romulus, and a few more there. Man, Masterversal Toy Hunter has gone all in on the Mythics. And Carol saying she wants the Krampus for the Naughty or Nice collection. Well, Carol, it's available for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store. So I recommend highly getting it. No idea if you'll get it before Christmas, but that is a fun. Like the more I look at it, the more I just want it for fun things, and then you put it away and bring it out at Christmas. Like a few of the wizard-looking fellows, Samir, Scroll Warder, Duban, and Lady Averon and Swig. She's saying all these names, I don't know who they are yet because we haven't taken the lore class. So yes, those Mythic Legions fellows will give me a nice wee start to the collection there. I agree. That sounds
Yeah.
like an epic start.
So,
Yeah.
Oz, I gotta ask, now that Sean's got you hooked, what's next on your Mythic Legions list?
Oh, I don't want to admit to it. No, I actually I did put in pre-order for some of the new wave coming out.
Oh,
Some of the ones on there looked really good. The one that was straight up like Grim Reaper.
mhm.
Because again, the different looks that you can do with him,
Yeah.
you know, really, really good. So for now though, like trying to keep myself sane a little
Yeah.
bit. Because I've still got a lot of other stuff, responsibilities that I got to get in order too. So I can't go blowing all my money on Mythic.
I
Can
know.
I just say, like, if I wasn't in a similar position as you, I think I'd go all in on the cosmic. Uh, is it Cosmic Legions?
Yeah, yeah, those.
Those figures are amazing. That one big guy with the glass dome on his head
Blog.
is phenomenal. It's very, very tempting. Play the lottery, folks. That's what I tell myself.
You heard it. Go play the lottery. Buy all the legions
Yeah.
across the board. All the legions.
Yeah, at this point, if I got Powerball or Mega Millions, it'd be like I want my fun money, and my fun money would be getting one of everything I either sold recently or I haven't gotten yet.
Yes.
And do an all-in pre-order finally because I never get to do an all-in. So yeah.
Shawn, how do you feel about the Cosmic Legions?
To be honest, the first wave didn't really get me, and the second wave was the one that made me go, ooh. Like they have some things, like the first wave you had the Sphexians. They're the bug guards, and they look like fly people basically. And those I was like, ooh, I like those. They're really unique. They're really different and stuff. And then there's I don't remember her name. I'm having a hard time remembering the names for the cosmic half the time, but there's one who's like basically everybody was calling her Cara Dune because she was like the big heavy artillery woman in the first wave, and she was one where I'm like, ooh, I like her, but then the rest of it was kind of like, okay, there's things here and there, but it wasn't like gelling. But then the next wave, they had the scorpion woman that I thought was really cool. They had the snake guy who I thought could look like a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
They have the alien who's just like a gray alien, really long, lanky character, and then there was this other character who's like a half cyborg that a lot of people are enjoying and stuff. So it's like that one for some reason ticked more boxes for me than the first wave, because
Yeah.
everybody was guessing, what is the deal? Are they going to just do, here's mythics in space, and then when you see what they did, it's like, oh, this is way different than what I was expecting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good stuff.
I remember seeing when those waves were getting announced because I wasn't actively toy collecting, but I was looking because I was getting that was around the time I was getting Connor the Aliens versus Predator figures. And I had seen these and I was like, wow, these are really good. And I knew of Mythic Legions and stuff.
Mm.
So it was like, oh, they're going to space now. And, I've tried to follow the Horsemen because I absolutely love their work. Like I say, since 2000X He Man, and even before that with Spawn. So I was like, this is really cool that these guys are doing this thing. And I'd seen again some of their kind of tribute figures to the Masters line. So
Mhm.
I was really blown away. And there are like so many elements like you can just pick from different sci-fi that
Yeah.
they've incorporated into it, and it looks good. Like I see stuff and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, they've gone from like Farscape and then like, Mass Effect style with like
Hmm.
N7 looking type stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just really, really you can tell how passionate they are about world building with their toys, not just giving you here's the core figures and we're going to deco them out 1500 different ways and that's all we're going to release.
Yeah. And
They go
no,
ahead.
all I was gonna say, like the thing about it was they did this one a whole different way than Mythics. Mythics, they did the Kickstarter to start the line, and they basically offered up a lot of the main characters right there to get people into it one way or the other. But then with Cosmics, they're calling each wave book one, book two,
Yeah.
book three, and it's all about like a storyline versus it being about here's all the main characters. So there's like parts of the story and like factions we don't even know about yet because they're all in mystery based on when that will be released within X amount of time, depending where it hits in the story. And I'm like, I think that's the first time I've ever seen a toy line where they're legit. This is a story, and we're giving you the characters as the story is progressing, compared to like Masters of the Universe. It was here's 8 figures, go for
Yeah.
it, have fun, and but make up your own world if you don't like the one that we've created. But this one, it's like it was so story driven that was another thing that kind of was like, whoa, like people might say Mythic Legions don't have a story, and there have been people like, what is the lore with it and all that, like we're going to get into on the next episode. But the thing is, like, this one got so story driven that I was like, man, this is like a complete response to anybody who's ever said anything negatively about the storyline in Mythics from here.
Right?
Yeah, and it's all like this prison thing, like a prison, and they're fighting in like prison tournaments and all this stuff. So it's like it does have that Moss Eisley slash like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of a vibe to it, because
Mhm.
of like when they're in jail and they're trying to fight to get their way out in that
Yeah.
movie. It kind of has that, but it also has that like wretched hive of scum and villainy to it as well.
I
So,
agree.
and that
Yeah.
dog guy is probably like a corrupt guard. So then they got that as part of the story, which I've actually held him when I was an intern for the day in November. And anything that you think about that figure for details, you don't know the half of it. I was looking at that figure and turning him around in my hands, and every time I turned him a different way, there's something new that popped out in the design of that figure on something, one way or the other. And it was just like, he's one that I wouldn't have gotten because he's huge. He takes up too much room. But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, it's gorgeous as hell, even though he's ugly as hell. Like, it's gorgeous from an artistic standpoint, though, of
Oh,
the
for
amount of
sure.
everything they put into that one.
Yeah, I agree. Like they are kind of mind-blowing. And the one of the things that I really really like about them is you can just see, like, by looking at it, you can see there's a story to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I like that because
Yeah.
you already start building your own headcanon. Whatever lore is out there doesn't matter. You
Yep.
build that headcanon. And let's face it, I mean, that's what we did when we were kids with the toys in the first place. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
made your own stories. And
Absolutely.
I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything that they've worked on when it comes to their personal IP, like Mythic Legions or Cosmic, I know the basics of Mythics, but I'm also going to look at my shelves and go, I'm good. I look at these figures, and in my own head, I'm like I showed it off on our last show, the Mythic 101. Like Rhaegor is his own figure. Rhaegor is his own division of figure too, with the dragon shield, like I said, and it's like no one else has that designation. But then I ended up making 2 other figures to go with him because I like the idea that now they're a tribe and you can have these characters teaming up and almost be like the Mandalorians for Mythic,
Yeah.
because they're the ones that it's like, okay, it's that bad of a situation. These guys can get in and get out and take care of business, and that's why they have the dragon sigil. You know, these are the guys that's like special ops. They're going to go in and they get the job done no matter what happens. And that's not even in his lore, but that's the way I want to view it because it's a figure I actually really enjoy and I care about. And what's also funny is on the back in back of me here, if you look at my figures, almost every single figure on there is a Legion builder.
Hmm.
I don't have hardly any named figures as of right now because of all the crap I've had to go through recently. But you know what? Every single one of those figures means something to me, and they're not just like, cannon fodder when it comes to collecting them. I've customized them. I made them a thing that matters and that speaks to me on the shelf. And it's like I don't have names for all of them, but I still enjoy them and I like that they're there. And I like that,
Right.
those are figures you can't find because I made those.
Can you just take some time and give them names and backstory, and
I
we can
will
have a
work
full
on that,
discussion
actually.
on that?
It's been a very weird month, but yes,
Yes, let's
like
do that.
I kind of have a honestly, like, I sketched out back ideas for what they would be, the histories of some of these
Yeah.
figures. Naming them is the worst part for me because it, like, I always feel weird naming something and committing to that, and then later on I'm like, oh, I like this name better. Oh no, you already named it, And I just feel like it's like giving a child a name, and then by the time they're 6, you go, no, your name's Kevin now. It's like,
Kevin.
what are you doing to me?
Hey,
I've got
that's
four. I've got 4 good names for you.
Go for it.
Dooch, Oz,
Uh-huh.
Skelly,
Kelly.
Bobby.
Bobby. Okay.
4 good
I'll
names right
figure out
there.
which ones are which then for the
Yeah.
next time, because
fair.
the douche has to have a certain something, or else it just isn't douchey enough for me.
He's got to bring the douche.
Oh, he's got to make you feel the douche the minute he walks in that room. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So I'm gonna jump back into the chat here in just a second, but I want to say I've opened this pack up. The only thing I haven't popped out yet is the Great Sword, but already the kind of pop and swap that you can do. It's not much for the armor. It's got the set of pauldrons, but the horns, like a weapon loadout style. Um, this is really, really cool, and I'm gonna get into it in just a minute. But I know the chat's getting away from me here, so I want to start running through and highlighting everything here. I've left it on Thanos Copter for a while because he said he found some present packages at the dollar store for some holiday picks. And I think that's great. I was actually in there today, but I was in there with a purpose. I was looking for a photo album for my upcoming craft booking episode, where we're going to go ahead and we're going to scrapbook. I said craft book. We're going to scrapbook some of the box art from Masters. Anybody who wants to join in with me while I do it, you're more than welcome to. We're going to sit here and we're going to cut the cards and we're going to put them into a photo album, and we're going to spend a night scrapbooking while I'm live and just talking it up and having a good time, because why not? You know. But so for anybody who's doing the toy photography, check out your dollar store and grab some packages. And if you find little mini Santa hats that'll work on action figures, let us know, because we're looking. That's in the new finalized or more finalized, because it's not quite there yet, but soon, there is a section for what we call quests. And that section is, if you're hunting for something, you put it in the quest, and everybody will quest for you. So
Yeah.
you will have eyes all over the US and in other countries trying to find what you're looking for at a reasonable price. And that's why it's called a quest. So a little bit of an RPG element, folks, for those of you who don't know. And that Discord server is patron only. So check it out if you haven't signed up. The frenzy is growing. So we've got, sorry to hear that, Thanos copter. Hope everyone there will be okay. Agreed. Yeah, it's an extreme situation. So
Yeah.
Carol chiming in, since I did a little bit of my accents and voices on here now. Oz did all kind of stuff when we were younger. You should have seen us in the drive-throughs.
Oh man. That's
Oh
great.
man, I feel sorry for some of those people for what I did.
That's awesome.
It was fun. We had a blast. And you've never seen a car full of people go from drive-through to drive-through, like ordering one or two things per fast food chain, just because we wanted to mess with the people at the drive-through. I bit the bullet, and Farius is sitting in my pile of loot and pre-ordered Bailey. It's going to take me a while to get used to these names. Bailey-Alith?
She's a very new one. She's on the most recent pre-order, and she's pretty sweet. She has skeletal snakes, a bird, and a chimera. She's a beast master of the dead. So she herself has blue skin, purple hair, and like she has interchangeable faces. So you can have the one where her face looks fairly normal. There's like a little bit of rotting on her skin, but then if you put the other head on, her nose is completely gone. She reminds me of Corpse Bride a little.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
She
Oh,
has
wow.
she has a pad on her one arm so she can have a bird perched on her, but the bird is a whole, like literally an entire skeletal bird. And then she has a cage on her back, and in there is a skeletal snake that you can actually like load other things into and out of. And there's a chimera she has on a chain. So
That's
it has
phenomenal.
a wolf head, I guess, or whatever, and then even the tail has a head that comes up, and it's got fangs and teeth and everything. She's one of my favorites from the new line. She, if I remember, she's a deluxe figure, so she's about $50 by herself, but she has so many bells and whistles that to me it justifies the $50 when you see all the menagerie of animals she has with her.
Yes, and I am a sucker for critters, so everything you just said sent like shivers down my spine.
Well, yeah.
Especially since you said like dead ones. I mean, not to get too weird or graphic or anything, but I have a collection of different animal skulls, and even some decorative human skulls. No real human skulls yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just throw it out there. But so like that for me just like hits so many fine points. I'm really digging that. That is incredible. Oh gosh.
The thing is, like, one of the things I didn't like about the line when I first got into it was the female figures. The female figures tended to be the ones who would get loose, like their joints would be loose faster, and sometimes they'd fall off the shelf way faster than the male figures. So I just was like, okay, I'm just not going to worry about the female figures. Well, in the last couple of waves now, the Wraith I think it's Wraith Spiritbender, the one. I think it was Elder that said he put her on his order. She's this like black magic sorceress kind of a character, and I was like, oh, that one's quite nice. And then when they unveiled the one I'm talking about, and I can't remember the name, Belualith or whatever, when they did that, I'm like, oh, I'm in now. I got to have some female figures on my shelf, and these female figures, they tie into the mythology nicely as well. So it's not like they're just throwing a female figure at you just to have a female to offset ratios or whatever within the line. It's like she is the hidden daughter of Necronominus. So we did not even know that there was this secret daughter out there, and he already has 3 other kids.
Right.
So, there you go. Like the big bad guy also has this secret daughter he's bringing in with a menagerie of dead animals to go kill people and bring them to his side because he wants to kill everybody and have them for his own army.
That's
So
cool.
any good guys he kills off, the minute they die, they're gonna they're gonna come back, and it's gonna be now they're a part of his army, and they're gonna outnumber the living. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That whole concept to me is like, I'm picturing it like Walking Dead, but with knights. Like
Game
no
of
matter what you
Thrones.
do.
With the White Walkers, like
Yeah.
as they were
Yeah,
killing
totally.
people, they were just growing the other army, and it's
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
You guys see this? I see this becoming a cartoon in the future, but like a cartoon similar to Fire and Ice. Do you see this happening, or no?
I don't think Bakshi's gonna do it, but
No, of course, but
They're doing a video game right now. And
yeah.
that's like their
Oh.
first push into another media.
Yeah.
They did a comic book, and it was a 1 episode or a 1 issue, like a one-off issue. And they didn't really want to go back to comic books to tell this story, but the game now is going to expand things, and it's maybe going to bring people who they might not collect figures, but it'll bring gamers who enjoy this, because there's a ton of fantasy games out there in the last 20 years. I mean, heck, Skyrim was huge for a lot of people for a long time. So it's like you're bringing that kind of a vibe into it. It's going to make it easier for them to transition it to maybe TV or to a movie or something. Or I mean, how many of these the streaming channels out right now, there is a major fantasy show on their list.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Game of Thrones opened the doors for so many people to start doing some of this stuff, and it's like, that's right there. I think people would be crazy not to do something with that eventually, because it's already got a built-in fan base as well, just like Game of Thrones did.
Right.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right.
I can see this really blowing up in that way, because Thanos Copter just put a comment in recently, a minute ago.
Skelly, go ahead and highlight it. I forget. You can actually, if you want to command the chat while I get to play with my toy a little bit here.
First, I need to show this.
Critter Shivers.
Critter Shivers.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Ooh, Modi.
But Thanos Copter said, I really need a deep dive on the lore. Seems really cool. So, and I'm not, Shawn, you know this, like I'm not really deep into Mythic Legions, but every time I hear a conversation on Legends of Grayskull podcast or wherever out there about Mythic Legions, there is this lore that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be cultivated and reinforced by the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see this lore becoming more concrete over the years, if there were comic books, if there was a cartoon, if there is a video game, which is happening, and then also if they were to do, and I could see that leading into a show that carries the same kind of heft, dramatic heft that Game of Thrones carried in those first few seasons. But I think that's what's exciting to me about Mythic Legions, watching it from the outside, is how I'm watching this kind of lore develop I'm watching the fandom grow, and I'm watching this thing become bigger than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mythic, which is awesome, right?
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
so I could see this going somewhere spectacular, and I know those guys are probably thinking, the Four Horsemen guys are thinking, like, what else can this become? And if I were in their shoes, I'd be very excited about the way this thing is growing and the potential for what it could become.
I agree, and the thing is, like, Legions Con is a good example
Yeah,
that every year. Last year I went, and you could still walk around the aisles. It was not choked to get around or any of that stuff. And this year, it was at least 3 times bigger place, maybe even 4 times bigger. And even that, it was choked with how many people were in there excited about this
Mhm.
line. And I think Cosmic, going back to that, is only going to make it bigger, because now you're hitting 2 different sides of geekdom, sci-fi and fantasy.
Right.
Boom. I mean, they're fulfilling something for someone, one way or the other.
yeah,
And and then on top of that, like, these releases that they're coming out with, that's stuff they couldn't do in the original waves.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
you're seeing them building the line just as much as the lore, and you're also seeing them get into different things like soft goods on the figures, but still the figure is still reasonably priced compared to what you'd expect it to be. I mean,
Yeah.
some people 37, they might go, "Oh my god, that's still a lot of money," but it's like, when you look at everything that's included for that, that to me is like, I can't not do that, especially if they're re-releasing a figure that would go for about 5 times that on eBay, maybe even 6 times on eBay, and I can get him for $37 with a lot more bells and whistles than what he was released with. I mean, I'm not a completist. I'd rather have the nicer version. That's just how
yeah,
I am. But yeah, I the thing that I would be curious about, if they ever got it to the point of like Hollywood or a
yeah,
cartoon or something, there's so much going on to it. Even though we like to poke fun at the dude, he was the one saying there's no story, he can't invest himself in it. But then it's like, no, there is. You just need to read the website, and I need to brush up myself before the next episode, because I don't know if I have it all in my own head or not. But
yeah,
the thing
I've
is,
yeah. Yeah.
it's almost like encyclopedic already. And it's like, okay, if they did a show, I'd almost just want them to focus on 2 factions at a time, and let that be a season maybe or something. Because if you kept switching and swapping constantly, I don't know if you'll ever give enough time to any one faction, because there's a lot of factions already. So,
mhm,
Right.
it's
They
like,
might
okay,
have to do multiple shows, which actually could turn into, I think, a really lucrative deal.
oh, I'm sure.
Um, so again, running through the chat here, and seeing some different things. One of the ones that Masterversal Toy Hunter brought up was Manny Faces, Man at Arms, and like Roboto in Cosmic Legions. Like, because they are more of that sci-fi than the fantasy. And I think that's actually probably something we might see,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Well,
Um,
they've done a Man at Arms homage already, but
mhm.
they could do a 2.0 basically, by having the cosmic stuff, and then he has the tech, and not just looking like a warrior
yeah,
basically that time.
So J Max saying, keep in mind that barbarian retail for $26. Mythic doesn't mean pricey. And that's one of the things that I uh really am realizing with this. Like when we looked at the other week, like the pre-orders for the upcoming waves, when you look at all that you're getting, they're really not that pricey, not comparatively to, like, okay, Beastman here, 32.99. He comes with a lot of options.
mhm,
But if you're telling me this guy's 37.99 and all I have done was open up him, not even the other pack that you sent me,
Hmm.
I've got a handful of horns. I've got these pauldrons. I've got a short sword, a great sword, a trident, an axe. I've got wings of different variations for the helmets.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot to do with just this core character, which I like because Shawn, you sent this guy. This is my first mythic, this generic barbarian. And between this pack and the other pack that you've sent me, I'm going to create the bear. You know, that's going to happen with this guy. It really
Oz,
is.
Oz, can you put him full screen? Let's get a close look at that guy.
Yes. Okay, so I popped on one pauldron just because I wanted to see how it looked. But I mean, the amount of deco here, you kind of miss out on some of it because, again, he said this is already kind of like primed, so that you can kind of do more customizing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, again, the detail on here is ridiculous. Look at these boots.
Yep.
Yeah,
Look at them
Gene Simmons is
boots.
weeping
Those,
at the boots.
yeah,
Look
those
at that.
boots are definitely made for making sure your enemies aren't going to wake back up again.
Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah,
made for
you
rock
knee
and roll.
somebody in the groin with these, they ain't getting back up. They're certainly not having kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
again,
those boots are metal.
mhm, with the horseman, I noticed like his back had this, and I've seen this on several now, where they've got these typical, like you've got the two holes at the top and then the
Mm-hmm.
square at the back. And
Yep.
so I'm seeing where that comes into play here with, again, I can attach these different pauldrons to it. Um, I like that. I think that's really, really unique. I like that his belt here, they've put a gap in it because that's where the axe was held.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got options to what weapons you're going to carry on him. I'm sure they've got like pouch bags and stuff like that so you can make different things. The idea with the horns here, I mean, you know, I'm going to go Fus Rodal on this guy real quick, just because, again, you just saw he had one set of horns, and now I'm going to go ahead and make the Dovahkiin. And anybody who knows what I'm talking about, I love you. So, I mean, this guy just rolled out of Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's that easy. The pop and swap is really, really nice. The back piece, the pauldron was a little tight to get in, but I like that because that means it's going to be that much. Like, I'm not just going to put it in; it's going to fall out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that is really awesome. And then again, you got kind of these wing things here, and I'll just go ahead and use. Well, I'll do one of each, and I'll show off both looks. So when I say I've got like two sets of wings, I mean, you're looking at two different styles that you can put in on this guy. And again, he's a barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
So his stuff is coming from the wild. But I mean, it might have looked better if I put the feathered wing out the other side and then like the more dragon wing on the other part. And again, this is just one figure with all these parts. And this is really cool because I can make this figure mine and
Yeah.
how I want to.
Well,
Eh,
the figure itself, just I don't want anyone who doesn't know to think you're getting everything that I sent. Some of those attachments are things that you have to get if you get the original Legion builder.
okay.
The ones that he comes with are just the black smaller horns, and that's what you get when you get that version.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, if you join the Cabal, you are probably going to meet people that you'll say, hey, I'm looking for such and such. And either they'll give you a deal on it or they'll just say, what's your address? And they'll probably send it to you because they have so many of these things that they're happy
Right.
to give it to someone who's looking for it then. And that's kind of what I did. I had so many of these builders from the last year and a half of collecting that I was like, I can part with those and you can have a ton of fun deciding what this character is going to be when you get them in your hands. So yeah, I don't want everybody to think this is everything that comes with them.
Okay.
That is $60, and that one's the figure you get looks more like this guy over here.
I'm gonna put you on full screen there.
He'll look like this where he has the shirt off. So he's
Sure.
both arms are bare and both
Okay.
legs will be bare, but he'll look more like this. but have all those additional pieces that you can just go nuts and whatever kind of a character you want them to be. And honestly, the wings, I always use those as like that's my leader guy. It gives me that Captain America vibe.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I get
like
that.
he's like the more like regal or noble, I guess, by having these on it. And then the other guys are more, they'll have the horns because they're more like his, the foot soldier guys or whatever. And it shows that they're more
Yeah.
whatever. That's how my headcanon works.
Well, and that kind of works too if you think of like a skilled warrior or something like that. Like, okay, so like the guys on the ground, they're going to hunt, they're going to get those other
Yeah.
horns,
Hmm.
whereas a leader is probably a more skilled warrior, might have be more able to use a bow,
Hmm.
and shot a hawk out of the sky. So I mean, like that makes sense that he would have that. It's something of a sign of more skill or more prowess,
Hmm.
and I like that idea. Um, but yeah, I mean, just the options to be able to do this, whether you get it with this figure or whether you have to buy others to get it. Again, that pop and swap. One of the things that I know Connor loves about Origins is he loves doing the modularity of the figures.
Hmm.
I enjoy it too. I've got a couple of modular figures behind me that I've made up. So I'm really going to end up taking a couple of pictures of those and showing them off, and then being like, kind of like, and this is kind of one of those winning things from Legions with me right now. So I'm going to run down the chat a little bit before we get into more of the other accessories. And then while we're here tonight, I'm going to build up my Oz character. So
Ooh.
Danny Phillips has jumped in to say hi to everyone, but then he has also said, I'm just off to bed, but hopped in to say hi. Um, so again,
That's
Danny
fun.
Phillips is the latest Oz hole. He joined the Patreon channel earlier this week. So Danny, thank you for the extra support. We really appreciate it. Again, it's helping us with a lot of the decisions we're making in the direction we want to take the channel and what we can do with the channel. So
Yeah.
thank you, and thank you to all the Oz holes who have
I love that.
joined on and had some fun with us as YouTube tries to figure out whether or not what I just said should pull this stream. So he's in there calling people a bunch of assholes. Uh, Thanos Copter's keeping his eye. The December quest, folks. Okay, the December quest, Santa hats. It's gonna happen. Uh, Carol says could take the hats off mini gnome ornaments from Walmart. Um,
Good idea.
I'm not going to condone that sort of shenanigan, but maybe buy the gnome first.
Yeah, I think she means to buy them first. I hope
Yeah,
that's what she means.
Carol definitely means buy the gnome, not just take the hat off the
Sean, doesn't this make you want to do a series of holiday Mythic Legions photos?
gnome.
Somewhat. I mean, the Krampus one last year, I think, started the ball rolling on
Yeah,
that for a lot of fans.
yeah, for sure.
I'm sure, yeah. Chinese fire drill, and yes, we did many of those
Yeah,
in the
I remember
drive-through,
Yep.
and everybody was like, "What are they doing?"
those.
So I love the design for Belial and her critters, just fantastic. So I was back earlier.
Mhm.
And again, if people are wondering how I said critter shivers, but I didn't know I said critter shivers,
Mhm.
it's invisible black magic. Okay. And again, uh, we know it's the dark arts because it came from Skelevator, the evil Sith Lord of Destruction. That's how I know his invisible magic I can't see is indeed black magic. I really need a deep dive on the lore. Seems really cool. Well, that's really a lot of what we're going to be doing for next episode of Mythic 201. Now, again, this has not become a Mythic channel, guys. I know it's
Mhm.
kind of been a little focused on the Four Horsemen since I got the Figure Obscura Endless Horseman. But I mean, it's a new avenue for the show to take, and we just set up that Mythic 101 last week, and then I just got this package, so I wanted to come on right away and show off how awesome this is as a follow up. We'll of course still be doing more Motu talk and everything like that in the future, But this episode definitely needed to happen, and we're gonna have Mythic 201. Oh gosh, I can't even remember what week we said it is. It's in a group chat with me and
I think
Shawn and Jesse.
didn't we say the 10th?
I think we did say the 10th. So that'll be Mythic 201. Definitely be here if you want to dive more into the lore. Again, we're just going to let Jesse and Shawn go ham, and me and Brick and Eldor are going to try to keep up. So that's going to happen. Also, an official book coming soon of all of this. I have no doubts the Mythic community is expanding. You're
Mm,
watching it happen right now as we sit here live. Didn't know there was a comic, just found a link, looking forward to reading it later. See, that's awesome. I love this.
mm-hmm.
Mythic is a bit pricey for me here in Eternia due to the of the old currency conversion. So almost 70 to 80 a figure, but
Mm,
yes, I will get what I can, I suppose. With Afarius, they're costing me 175 in Eternian gold.
mm,
Um, it's steep, but yeah, I mean, for what you get with it, it's really really nice.
mm-hmm.
So definitely, if you're into it and it's gonna make you happy and you want to keep doing it, do it, man. Definitely do it.
The thing
Uh,
that we said in the last episode too was try to look forward, don't go backwards as much. If you're
right,
a completist, it will eat you alive. And there are definitely figures that if you're a completist, you're going to be paying, like I've seen on eBay, some of these going for $500 from the original Kickstarter, but those figures have not been re-released since the original Kickstarter. So there is that, there is a rarity to that one in particular, because I don't know what those numbers are for the original Kickstarter versus what they're doing now, which it's all over the place a lot more than it ever was. But if you look forward, you're not going to have to pay those prices, and maybe just dabble in a few from the ones that you didn't get yet. But wait and have patience pay off, because All Stars waves will come up, and then you're able to get some of these figures for $40 again, compared to $200 on eBay or whatever the going rate is.
that's I'm pumped about it. Like I'm really really pumped. And again, yeah, moving forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like as great as to see the past. Hey, yeah, if I come across something and it's at a decent, reasonable price or something like that, and I've really got to have it, then that's great. I can jump in there. But
Yep.
considering everything that comes out just keeps getting better,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be at a more affordable price
Mm-hmm.
as it's coming,
Absolutely.
that just makes sense to me. You know, uh,
Being more of them, it's going to be easier to get your hands on something somehow.
yeah,
Like I said, the original wave, those are, like those command those prices for a reason. But previous waves, some are still going for what they were when they first were released, because there's so many of them out now that it's easy to find them.
right,
That's a good thing for new collectors.
right. So I think that's great. We had Master Versal Toy Hunter asking if you did make it to Legions Con this year, which actually I saw quite a bit of you and Jesse posted pictures
Yeah.
of Legions Con. And that just like really kind of warmed my soul because, like, again, I know you from Power of Eternia and everything, and again, knowing Jesse from doing just Shelve It, or I said Power of Eternia. That's my podcast
You're
I'm on.
plugging your own.
Legends of Grayskull, folks. Again, if you haven't subscribed to it, please do.
Mhm.
Shawn and the Dooch are amazing on there. And it's funny because in a way they kind of helped bring Skelly and I together. So
That's
it's
awesome.
really fun to see how this awesome verse has just really formed through all of this. It flows around us like the force a little bit.
It's going to be pretty
Sure.
soon. It's going to be 6 degrees of Ostradamus toys.
It
Yeah.
will. It really
I
will.
think it already is actually. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
starting to get there pretty quickly too. I'm
Yeah.
popping up everywhere. Like tomorrow
So
morning, I
yeah,
might be jumping on Toy Connections. Uh,
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. It was a fun experience jumping on with Ken last night and getting to finally talk shop with him a little bit, considering I hadn't done that before. So that was
Yeah, I
really,
love
really
I
neat.
love Ken's channel. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's doing great work out there.
yes, he is. Absolutely. And I'm sure Skelly, you'll have to jump in too, because he always likes having some guests on and meeting new people. So I'm sure we'll all be able to sit down. Maybe that's what we should do. He does his show like in the morning. You like doing like that kind of like Sunday live with the coffee kind of deal. Well, I'll just have coffee with Ken or something like that. That might be
I
kind of
think that's
fun.
a great idea. In fact,
Well,
I'm not going to be live tomorrow morning, but I am going to be showing a video live, and I will be in the chat having my coffee. If people want to join me, I'm going to show a video of my tour of Disneyland. So 10
oh,
a.m.
I'll be there.
Yeah. But guys, I'm gonna get going and let you all continue the conversation. I stayed longer than I thought I would, which is a great thing because you two are two of my favorite people in the world. So thanks so much for letting me jump on, Oz. I'm gonna head out.
Okay.
And Shawn, it's really great to see you.
Likewise, always happy to see you.
All right, Skelly. I'll see you again soon. At least Thursday.
Yes, certainly. That's right. Coming
But
right
we'll
up.
be
Oh, be sure to mention that tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. Of course, we always do, guys.
good
You
one.
can catch Skelly and myself and Bobby this upcoming Thursday, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Don't miss out on a single episode of Toy Frenzy. But if you do, watch the replay and hit that like.
That's right. All right, guys. Have a great evening.
See ya.
Yep. See you tomorrow morning, Skelly. So yeah, but yeah, you guys look like you were just having a ton of fun. And it's been so long since I've gone to a convention, since my GameStop days at this point.
Hmm.
Uh, that's something that's closer. It's certainly closer than heading up to Boston for PAX East.
Hmm.
Um, of course, not nearly as close as when we used to have like Otakon here in Baltimore.
Hmm.
But I think that'd be fun to get out to and have fun with everybody and just get more into this.
Absolutely.
Um,
Like I said, this year that is one of my things. I want to get you with me and Jesse out there this next November. We're not in 2023 yet, so next November, and have you really get into it and see what the deal is, and you'll have some of your own already by that point. So then you'll go there and see what other people are doing, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole with the amount of customs, the amount of third party heads, weapons, even body parts that you can do to make all sorts of different things. And I mean, they have breakout sessions they're going to do, like some of them are customizing and stuff, so you can get ideas on what people are doing there. And it's the one toy line and I'm sure there's other lines out there I might not know about, but to me, it's the one toy line where it makes it accessible to just go crazy with it. And
yeah,
yes, you have a barbarian or you have an elf or you have a skeleton figure, but you can make that not what you got out of the box if you do some of these things. And then you have this kind of like, this is mine now. There's this sense of like, I made that,
yeah,
and they actually are happy that the fans are doing that. And they're actually seeing what the fans do and go, that's so cool. We need to figure out how to do that in the line the way we would do it or whatever. Because I've heard
right.
that before. The horsemen will see stuff and then they actually go up to somebody and go, I like that. I'm going to borrow that for this character. And then usually the fans like, awesome, because just the fact, wow, you
Yeah,
took something that I made, you thought it was good enough to
yeah.
put in the line. How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to not like that, and the engagement from the horsemen for this line,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's great, and it's something they've never. Classics was kind of close,
Mm-hmm.
but and again, you're still under Mattel's umbrella.
Yeah.
This is them. They don't answer to anybody else, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to answer to the fans. But in their way, they do because they're listening and seeing what everybody's doing. and adapting it their way and how they want to do it. And it's really cool because then the fan sees that and it's like, hey, that was mine. And
Hmm.
it's like, but now I see how they did it and I like what they did. But they get that recognition from it. And that's really cool. And not enough people are doing it.
Absolutely. And
So,
that's just real quick. That's one thing too. Like I said it before, if you get an Optimus Prime, no matter what you do, it's Optimus Prime at the end of the day. If you get a Ninja Turtle, no matter what you do, it's a Ninja Turtle at the end of the day. But when you have these figures and you're cobbling together all this stuff, you might have a barbarian to start out with, but he might turn into something completely different by the time that you're finished with him, and that's okay. It's all about what creativity and imagination that you have when you look at these figures and what you can do. And the one problem is the parts. If you
mhm.
have the parts accessible, you can go crazy. If you don't, you gotta find those eventually and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's still fun.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So Duchess here is just chiming in and saying that she just subscribed to your guys' podcast earlier today. And
Yeah,
that's what
thank you.
it's all about. And I see here Master Versal has said that he subscribed to Ken's channel. So again, I'm sure he really appreciates that as well. And when he does TKO tomorrow morning, you will be able to reach out and tell him. So that is definitely going to be great.
Very cool.
Uh, so and I knew something was missing from the start, and I definitely felt his absence. But Gamerbud, the
Yeah.
first Ozhole, hey, sorry, I've been here the whole time. I had a Grizzlor emergency. A patch of his hair on the side of his head came off, and he had to reline up the hair and glue the ends, trim it, and glue it to his head. Well,
Wow.
emergency toy surgery, but way to go, Gamerbud. Glad you got it taken care of. Yeah, he says it looks good now. Gamer Bud's a whiz at doing customizations and stuff like that. Like his paint jobs on a lot of his stuff um, is really awesome. So
Mhm.
you definitely got to go check that out. Um, but yeah, he's done a couple of lives where he shows off a few of those. He's done a bit with me on here, and I've been on his Instagram lives. I gotta say that's a different monster going live on Instagram. I don't know. I'm just so used to StreamYard and how smooth it is.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
but
saw you guys teaming up last night. I think was it last night?
yeah, it was last night.
Yeah,
I did.
up Grizzlord. Yeah, so I had to say I've never done a live on Instagram myself, so I couldn't even like it doesn't look as user friendly as what we're doing right now.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's really not. But it's still pretty cool though. I like the chat format here better than what I like on Instagram because you can't do live from a desktop on Instagram, which
Oh.
is so weird. So you got to use your phone and then like you got to kind of scroll with what's going on in the chat versus here, we've got this whole separate side column here and I can just click and highlight as I go, which is great because everybody gets that little bit of time to be seen
Yep.
or a long time. But yeah, I do really, really enjoy this format a lot better.
Hmm.
So Thanos Copter saying he caught bits and pieces of your live last night. Cool to see you getting out there more. And that's going out to Gamer Bud because as we all know, Gamer Bud's just recently started dipping his toes into doing live streams, and I gotta say he doesn't give himself enough credit.
Hmm.
So I'm really glad you've joined us now, Gamer Bud, and you're going live, and you I can tell you're already getting more comfortable with it, and I love that about it.
Hmm.
I really do.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that he's new to it last night when I was watching. So that's saying something because there's a lot of people out there. You could tell you could smell the newbie on them, as it were. It's like he looks like he's been doing this for quite a while. Very comfortable, very relaxed.
Well, I think he had a big practice before he did his first live. He went live with Ray from collecting classics when Ray was going crazy for Eternia the day it was ending. So he got a little bit of practice in with that. And Ray is always fantastic to go live with. As a matter of fact, he said he was going live tonight. I didn't get my notification saying he went live, so I'm not sure if he's done it yet or not. And I hope he's having an outstanding live if he did go live. But jumping in there and just chatting with Ray, he'll set you at ease. He'll make you feel comfortable real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, Gamer Bud wanted to jump on and do a YouTube live stream, so he jumped on with me the one night I was doing my unboxing. And
Mm-hmm.
I was totally fine. We both mutually just sat here and opened up a bunch of our toys, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that was when Brick joined us. Um, and that was a great episode. It was a lot of fun, but he had that ease. And then when he decided he wanted to do his first live and he asked me to be on there with it, I was more than happy to jump on and do it with him. Gamer Bud, you are an absolute natural. Keep it up, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You're great.
Absolutely.
And he's jumping in and saying, and that's Major Ozhole toy, everyone. Or to everyone, rather. I get it, man. Sometimes your autocorrect is so focused on that toy before you can even type out anything else, it just comes out that way. So Gamerbud saying, yeah, I think Grizzlor is a figure I'm not going to mess around with too much, and when I do, I'm going to be extra careful because every time I touch him, some of his hair seems to be coming off. Well, that's something that we gotta let Mattel know. We've gotta let them know, like, guys, we love this character, we love this Grizzler. If you do anything more like this, these are problems we're experiencing. They got to know what's happening because I got to say, I didn't have those problems on the old one. I've still got a vintage Grizzlor in a box downstairs that one of my friends donated like a ton of the old vintage toys to me. Grizzlor is one of them. His hair is not falling out at all. So this is something strictly kind of new.
Yeah, even with classic, both my vintage one when I was a kid and classics, nothing like that ever happened. And it's like the only character I remember having trouble with was always Moss Man. Because if you had him on a carpet, he'd always pick up lint and everything. And it's like, oh, that's just gross, But Grizzlor, no, never an issue.
Yep. So I'm really overall I'm glad because again he's kind of hanging out on my shelf and I'm not touching with him or playing with him that much. But now I'm a little worried that if Connor wants to play with him, because who doesn't want to play with a giant fuzzball? Um,
True.
that maybe some of that hair might come out. So I'll have to kind of be delicate with it and see what's going on with that. But yeah, for sure, he's still an outstanding looking figure. And I like that like we can move his head around a lot more than the original one could. Like
Mm-hmm.
he definitely has that with the ball joint. But that's not something I could say I'm looking forward to with some of the other upcoming characters. So, and I'll save that for another episode of Toy Frenzy because we definitely got to get back to what we're here for, which is this amazing character that you sent me. But I did want to point out that as the chat's slowing up a little bit here now, and I can jump back to more of that. Thanks, Oz. I had most of my last stream solo, and it didn't seem as bad as I thought it was, but I just took notes from all of you and watching your lives. Well, thank you, Gamer, but I appreciate that knowledge. Like, really, it helps a lot to know that we're inspiring you guys, and now you guys are, you know, stepping out of your shell and doing something maybe you wouldn't have thought about doing.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, it's a lot of fun, and I think one of the biggest things, at least with me, is who's going to want to watch me live kind of mentality. Um, but once you start getting people there and you start interacting, you start chatting with them and everything else, it becomes so natural because now you're just geeking out with a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, isn't that what we do? We just geek out, and that's basically what doing these live streams is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And we got Bro Man has entered the chat saying, "Ahoy, hoy! What's going on, Bro Man? Glad to have you here." And Black Phoenix has joined us as well, stating, "I can actually stick around for a stream for once." Dude, that's fantastic. I am so happy to see you here, brother. Black Phoenix goes around, he hits all the chats, all the great toy channels. And I know he normally supports me by watching the replays, right? But yeah, seriously, he tried to make it in the last one, but he had to jet real quick. So I'm glad he's able to pop in, stay around. We've definitely gotten into this quite a bit. You missed it already earlier. I opened up New Eternity of Beastman, which my sister had sent to me. And then the Barbarian Army Builder that Shawn has sent me. And I still haven't even gotten into the extra accessories he sent me. I'm still just going through the ones that he initially packed up with this. Um, but again, I just showed off quite a few of the different horn selections, feather selections. We got pauldrons here. We've got different styles of swords, like this little short sword here. It's kind of like a scimitar curve on it, which I dig. We've got this great sword here that is, you know, almost more like the Soul Eater. But I love the fact that, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. I'm going to try to full screen me a little bit so I can show that a little bit more. But the detail on this, like they etched runes into the
Yeah,
blades, and you can see it a little bit more there when I tilt it to the side. I
yeah.
love that. So they're giving it that more Ulfbert style of the German Viking blades, where they used to sign those swords with the word Ulfbert. So that's really neat in the way they kind of got it going all the way down the blade there. And this thing's massive, folks. This sword is huge when
Hmm.
you sit it next to him. Like, okay,
Yeah.
it's a little bit below his foot. So right there, you're
Hmm.
seeing how big that thing is. That is a great sword for the masses, which I was always a big fan of. Again, for people who watch anime, one called Berserk,
Hmm.
and the Dragon's Slayer sword that Guts uses. That's what that kind of reminds me of. So
Hmm.
I might do a little bit of customizing with that here. So we got some. There he is. He's stepping up, letting us know he does. He definitely does. And I thank you, Black Phoenix. I appreciate everybody who watches, whether you're watching and joining me live or watching my replays. It's great. And make sure you guys all hit that like button, please, because that really helps the channel get some more visibility. And I want this channel to keep growing. Not that I don't appreciate the more intimate setting of seeing the same people in the chats every week, but you guys know, no matter what, I'm going to do my best to keep talking with you, even if I've got, 25 people in the chat. Let's not let's not jump my goals up too high. I'm not geek dad territory here, with 400 plus people in the chat. You know, but please keep hitting that like button, people, and tell your friends about it too. Tell them to jump on and join in the chat, and let's have fun talking about toys because I love it. Thanos Copter saying nice looking sword, absolutely, and saying so. I missed the beginning. What figure are we looking at? This is the Barbarian. Shawn, what is it exactly? It's a Barbarian Army
The
Builder.
deluxe barbarian builder for Mythic Legions. It's a recent release, so you'll be able to find them at a pretty good price, even on the secondary market still.
Yeah. And as Shawn stated already, some of the accessories I've shown off already do not come with him. He did give me a very big kind of assortment of extra accessories he's had from buying several other builder figures.
Yep.
So, he packaged in a bunch of options that may not be available. I was a little unclear about that towards the beginning here, and I do want to say he has packed me in extras that may not be available when you get this for whatever you find it at as far as the retail price.
Yeah.
Um,
The wave, by the way, it also has the barbarian that you have right now. It has a gladiator figure. It has a dwarf. It has a goblin, and it has a skeleton. So, in my opinion, no matter what you might like fantasy wise, there's something in that wave that should cover something that you like and want to put in your collection in that way. So I'm always a barbarian guy because of He-Man growing up and stuff. But I
yep.
also like the dwarf in this one was like I gotta get a dwarf finally because I really love it. I have that one right here actually.
Awesome.
He is freaking gorgeous, and that's a builder character. That's not even like a named character, but he's just great. So, and the gladiator, like this is a whole new head sculpt. The Barbarian, whole new head sculpt. Same with the Gladiator. All of them, I think, are new head sculpts for that wave, if I remember correctly. So they added that as well, giving you a little extra something.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it. It really helps. And like I said, that's going to help me make this custom tonight. So let's get into this extra accessories pack now that I've shown off more of that. And as he stated, there is this little trident that comes with it. Again, it's more of that gladiator weapon style, but it gives you that kind of range depth. And I did have to attach the trident piece onto that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you like there. And again, I like that it's this bare kind of silver color, because I can definitely see where the dry brushing on this will definitely help bring out those details. You can just
Yeah.
give it like a little black wash or some weathering,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's really going to create a unique look for this.
Absolutely.
Um,
That does come with them, by the way. So if you buy one, that trident will be
Tridents in there.
also in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So there you guys go. That trident is in there, and like I said, it looks. Yeah, I've never been a fan of like tridents as far as like weapons go. Um, they've got a they just kind of come off as bland to me. So the fact that I kind of like how this one looks overall, like it's it's got character to it, and I like that.
The thing about the line is, and I know there are people that look at it as a negative, um, but for quite a few waves in the beginning of it, there is a big reuse of parts, reuse of the weapons that you'll typically get. So, like if you got a warrior character, a barbarian or a knight, you'd have like a big broadsword, and then you'd have like a smaller sword that'd be more like a knight sword, and you might have a spear and a shield.
Hmm.
And then they had a character called Calavius, who is a gladiator. He was one of the first legit. Here's a gladiator figure that I can remember out of the line, and he was the first to have the trident. So now they're bringing that back in with this figure. I don't think they used the trident. They might have used them with like Malafar, who's like a little goblin character that was in the Arethyr wave, but I don't remember the trident being used too much beyond those characters. So it's kind of nice that in a Legion builder option, they give you that finally, so you can get a lot more in your collection if you like the trident. Because for me, it's like that has a little more visual appeal on the shelf than having spears constantly, because the spears are the same spear over and over as well. And that at least
Yeah,
something different visually to pop, you know?
right. Yeah, no, I definitely get that. So in this bag you've sent me, which again, I'm still pulling everything out here, and there's some little bits. So I'm trying to make sure I go about this carefully, but I like it because I can already tell what some of these little bits are, comparatively. So, and again, folks, here we've got, so there's the main head that he's got with this dark brown, kind of like bushy short beard,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. And then we've got more of, let's blow my thing up big again here. Gotta be careful because moving my mouse around and I don't want to knock any of these littler pieces off. So, um, again, I'm gonna run through the chat here real quick. But again, we was a in stock item. There was not so a pre-order. I must have missed what you were talking. Okay, here it is. Yes, he saw that fellow on Big Bad Toy Store there. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my sister went ahead and she did the pre-order, and then she realized that she wasn't going to be getting the figures for 14 to 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so something I was trying to mention is the fact that, for me, like I don't even realize about that stuff a lot of times with these because I'm so used to a lot of these boutique companies. Like you're pre-ordering waves ahead, and they may not be coming for your. Some companies are worse than others, such as Super Seven. Like you're pre-ordering wave one, and or you're pre-ordering wave four, and you haven't even seen your wave one figures come in
Yeah.
yet, and it's been like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
So with this, I don't know what your experience with the turnaround is. Again, these guys are on a much smaller scale than a company like Mattel or Hasbro, where they can pump out figures. They have the resources to pump out those figures. These guys are a little bit smaller, so
Mhm.
their production lineup is not going to be as fast to turn around. And again, these guys are sculpting these themselves and then sending the masters off to the factory where it's going to eventually get made. Um, it does take time. It's a process, but
Mhm.
Shawn, what is your experience as far as how quickly we can get these guys in?
I'd say probably about a year, but
Okay.
I'm sure they put the 14 to 18 to have that little buffer period, because each wave that comes out, like when they put out the pre-order, those are just the tests from the factory that they have. Those are not articulated figures in any way, shape, or form. Those are
Right.
just each of those pieces is very fragile, and they have to be very carefully handled, because that is not the same kind of plastic that you're going to get, or the rubber that you're going to get when the factory produces it as a mass product that we get eventually. And the other thing too, I'd say their turnaround is pretty close to what we typically expect with some of the other companies. But I'd say in the case of like Mattel or like Hasbro right now, if you look at what they're doing on Hasbro Pulse,
Hmm.
they're doing pre-orders for next year, and that's like, okay, here's the Boba Fett figure from his show, and he's going to be coming out next October or something. Like they're doing
Right.
too, where it's almost like the boutique esqueness of their pre-orders, and I think in some ways that's them just giving it a buffer just in case they don't hit a certain deadline to get something to the factory. That's a shield. That's a orc
Yep.
shield. I thought it'd look really cool with him too. So he's and the one negative about shields, and I think I brought it up on the one episode, but those, if you drop a shield and the figure's still holding it, and depending on the kind of floor that you have, you might end up with a snapping right there, because that tiny
Weak point.
peg is such a very delicate peg that I got a shield just like the one you held up when I bought a figure, and when I tried to put it into the space between the pauldrons on the back just to keep it somewhere other than his hands, it shattered the first time. So like that's one thing that I can still say it's never been changed, and it drives me a little crazy that they can't think of a different way to do the shield, like the way it's held. But if you are gentle with it, and if when you store them, take the
Yeah.
handle off, you should be fine.
Okay.
But
Well, I
getting
appreciate
back to the sisters thing, yeah, I agree, but at the same time, there's enough going on if you're invested in this already, that by the time those hit, you're going to be excited that they're here, because you probably have already seen two or three other things along the way that have wowed you, and you get those or whatever. So
right. So these are some more shoulder pauldrons. During that, I was just showing off the different helmets, the different heads, and again, we went through the shields. Um, One thing I've learned from watching Toy Polloy's channel, which, by the way, I had a big moment this week where, again, doing the Power of Attorney podcast, uh, Toy Ploy apparently subscribed and is watching us now. So here's a guy I've been watching for a couple of years, watching his restorations, his customizations, and things of that nature. And he subscribed to our podcast this week. That was really cool,
that is
and he's excited to see more.
that, and also congratulations on starting the new show.
Thank you,
Feels
thank you.
dumb that I didn't say it earlier, but yeah, congratulations. I watched the first episode too, and the fact that you have Adam from the Battle Ram blog on there, and you got him to actually come on to the show, because he even says that, like, I'm not really into like the podcasting, but I'm here and I'll talk to you. And I'm just like, I don't think I've ever heard him anywhere other than Roast Google Dinner. They had him on maybe one episode before they it took a huge hiatus, and it was interesting to hear him on there. So the fact that you got him now and he's exclusive to your show is like, that's a heck of a win right there for you. So congratulations.
Well, I've up until that episode, I hadn't actually met or talked with him, but I've used his website as a resource over the years for so
Hmm.
much of my own knowledge.
Sure.
And Bobby has apparently been talking to him for a while on like Twitter and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that was like a huge deal to me too, like just doing this show with him. I'm like awestruck
Hmm.
of these guys, and it's just like, wow, being a part of this is something. Like this is really something. So I've been definitely enjoying that. And can I just say how much I'm thinking I like this look of the axe, this giant double-sided axe. And I noticed that right away when I was going through the bag when I saw that there was this piece in there and that you had the little spike on there. Again, I like that we have options here.
Yeah.
And again, for whatever reason, if you wanted to, I'm sure I could pop off this other side and then pop the other spike on that. So, I mean, that is really, really cool. But I'm really, really digging the double bladed. So I like that. And again, it's funny because I was like looking at his armor and I was thinking to myself, like, if I were to customize this, and I was kind of going to go for a look, he's this, he's a barbarian.
Hmm.
He's not going to have access to like gold or something like that. I mean, from rating, yes, probably,
Yeah.
but not like for his armor and his rivets and stuff like that. Not that kind. Bronze or brass might be more of what he could use for rivets or to
Yeah.
find. So either like an iron or like a bronze look to it. Um, and I might just mix and match it a little bit. But the
Hmm.
idea that I would have this giant kind of bronzish axe.
Hmm.
And then, he can come in here and with that and then have like some bronze accents on his helmet, on his armor. Um, but I don't know whether I want to go with the big axe or the little axe though so much. I don't know. I've got so many choices.
Yeah. That's
I,
why I did it. And like when you get that, if you get the original barbarian, the barbarian builder pack, it is like the box is literally this wide, and like you open it up and there's two levels of, like, the first level is the figure, there's some pauldrons, a couple weapons. You flip it up and the next thing you have is more pauldrons, more weapons, more options, even like two different belts and two different loin pieces. So if you want to have them with a fur loin piece like the barbarian builder you have, there's that. But then if you want to have them with a different one where it's more of like a scalloped piece, more
hmm
armor-esque, that's available as well. Just like the belt, there's the barbarian belt, which he doesn't have either one of them. He has a newer belt, the one that you have right now.
Okay.
But the original has like a big circle with a skull in it, and then there's one that it looks more like a gladiator belt, and he comes with
Okay.
both of those. So you can dress it up however you want to make this character and have a story all worked out while you're doing it. So the
Yeah.
beauty.
I'm loving this absolutely though. I think I'm gonna go with on one side the bigger, bulkier pauldron, and
Hmm.
then keep his other side a more free for swinging his axe and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I do that too. And if you get some armor arms, he can
Yeah.
have an armored arm, so he can have the shield on that side, so he's like extra protected. And then he has his free arm with no armor on, and he can go swing the sword or whatever. Been doing that a lot lately myself when I do my cobbled together pop and swap.
Yeah, I like that kind of idea. So that's what I've done. I put that bigger, bulkier pauldron on that side because I like that.
Nice.
Um, I still want to have some armor on my other side though.
Hmm.
But again, this just has that more open kind of feel to it. I actually like the darker short beard that he's got, so I'm sticking with that head. Um, I'm just trying to decide which set of horns I want to use.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know I got to send these to you, the antlers. I'll also throw in this armored arm.
Oh,
Then you can,
yeah.
and then you got an armored arm, and you
Thank you.
can. I got two of those. I'll just send them to you, and then you can decide which arm you want armored up or whatever. And yeah,
Well, thank you, Shawn. Again, I cannot thank you enough really for all of this because I mean, this is a great like I'm digging. I got like this really great starter set and I'm sitting here on live playing with toys, building the bear.
that's what.
And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this is phenomenal. Like I love this.
It, that's how like in Jesse's case, he loved Thistlethorn. That was a figure that really spoke to him. And then he started getting the line more because he wanted to finally be able to cobble together parts to represent uh, characters because he wrote a story like years ago that was a fantasy story, and he had all these in his head. He had these, this is who this character, what they'll look like and this and that. And then once he got into the line, he's like, I can make these characters the way I've always wanted to see them made and come to life. And then it made him go the whole way down the rabbit hole of customizing and painting, and now he's doing dioramas and stuff. And for somebody like me, like that's definitely his wheelhouse. And a lot of people are really reacting well to what he's doing. And for me, it's like I'm just happy to pop and swap. And when there's a figure that comes out that matches what I wanted to do, finally, I will buy that figure with the intention of it's not going to be that figure. It's going to be what
Right.
I want when I get home. And I'm not feeling sorry about it anymore.
No, no, I can definitely sorry guys, I had to stoop down here because that more scimitar looking short blade had fallen. So I want to pick that up. Uh but yeah, wow, I really, really dig this. And so again, from the options I got here, I'm kind of digging this look. I like the big horns, and I think those go on them till I get those stag antlers.
Yeah.
I'm really digging that. But I might play around with this a little bit more because I'm liking. I got so many options.
Yeah. This is why I did that. It's like, and then the best part is no matter what you get, you're still going to have those, and you could probably draw from those to do something with a new character you might get.
That's right, because that's exactly kind of like what I'm thinking is like, I'm already kind of thinking along those lines. Like, well, if I get some more of this or that, and because again, I've been in the cabal now. I've seen a lot of what people are doing and what they can do with things.
Hmm.
So it's like that really helps with ideas as to what kind of options I can get into. I
Yeah.
want to get some of these smaller pieces that I'm definitely not using put away though, because I do not want to lose any of them.
What in your case, like there have been episodes, Mythic Conversations, for instance. There was an episode of that where the topic was if you only had to pick a certain amount of figures because of either finances or you had to let some go, whatever, and maybe you had to size down your collection, like we talked about recently with the whole, restructuring or reimagining your collection and stuff. What would you do and who would you pick and all that kind of stuff? And for somebody who they're worried maybe cash wise it's not going to work out, or even space wise it's too much, I'd actually say that might not be a bad way to do it if you're just getting into the line and going, all right, so I need a warrior, I need a knight, I need a ranger. You just go through it and like, okay, here's my dwarf character, here's my goblin, here's my skeleton or whatever. You kind of come up with like a D&D Hall of Fame with these
Yeah.
figures, ones that speak to you the most, and let that be your collection. It doesn't have to be every time they've released something, you're doing an all-in. Grab the ones that speak the most to you, and maybe there'll be some down the line that you're like, oh, I got to get that one because that would go well with what I already have, or upgrade them eventually. Maybe they'll have a 2.0 that might be more interesting visually than the first one that you had on your shelf or whatever. But that could be an interesting way to do it versus going all in or going and being a completist, because like I keep warning you, and I'm going to say it every time, that will kill you. Don't be a completist since you didn't get on the Kickstarter. Enjoy
Yeah.
what the future will bring.
And that's one of those things that I definitely take to heart with this. There's no way I'd be looking at completing this. And fortunately, there are a few things that I have to be a completist on.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I say that, it's still selective. Because, like, Origins, got to be a completist.
Mm.
But I've already missed the boat on like a bunch of the con exclusives because of my circumstances.
Sure.
So I can't even be a completist in its true form. But if I can be at least a completist of what's available at retail,
Yeah.
that will suffice for me. But
Mm-hmm.
with something like this, I would definitely be more selective about it. And because even with like NECA, I've talked a couple times about having done the Alien line and
Yeah.
doing the Hive. I was very selective about what I chose to buy, and I didn't even buy just straight NECA. I know several of what I've got are knockoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the actual NECA figures. They're pretty close. But when I'm talking about making a Hive diorama, I don't necessarily need like the NECA, like it's gotta be the NECA. It's
Yeah.
gotta be the NECA. I'm not looking to complete the line in that way. I'm looking to make this really awesome looking diorama.
Yeah.
So, I can get away with that. And with something like this, I can see myself going that same kind of route of not necessarily buying knockoffs, but cherry picking through the future of like, okay, that looks cool and I like those parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll kind of go in on that figure kind of thing, and that's what I want to get. I'm already cherry picking with Masterverse. I've said I'm not going to go do the Revelations ones, but I have done a Revelation one, and I'm looking at a future Revelation one with the version 2 of Tila that came out from Revelations with the Duncan figure that's on its way.
Mm-hmm.
That looks a lot better than that Man at Arms figure that they came out with. Not saying he doesn't look cool,
Mm-hmm.
but that Duncan figure, and that'll probably be it for Revelations for the most part. Um, Still trying to build a King Grayskull up, so there's that. But that's more for using the parts to make an Origins King Grayskull of my own. Since I had to pass on Eternia, I just couldn't do it. And I didn't want to pass on Eternia, but I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's one of those things where I'm fine with cherry picking because of need, and with something like this, yes, I'd
Mm-hmm.
have to do it. Um, they come out with a really cool skeletal horse. I gotta say, I want to be in on that
Mm-hmm.
because that is awesome, and that's where we're at. So
It's like right now, it's the craziest time to even. My cats are killing each other, but it's the craziest time to be even in like when you look at this stuff, because like when I started collecting, there wasn't even a horse. And
right,
then in the last year and a half, all of a sudden we have horses. And then we had Aethon and Arethyr, and that was like the first horses you saw, and you're like, oh my god, this is what's going on. They bring out some of the other horses, and that'd be another one where it's like, okay, if you're going to cherry pick, at least get one horse, because you can really have some fun just looking at, number one, the articulation and the details on that horse, which I'm usually
yeah,
I could give or take it. It has to be something connected to the story usually for me.
hmm
But even if you get a standalone horse, it's awe-inspiring on the shelf. Just seeing that horse and like the articulation, the fact you can have it rearing up on its hind legs, and you can make that pose stick for longer than like 2 seconds. That,
agreed.
like, so yeah.
Well, we've had a couple comments go through the chat here, and I'm not too far behind, so we're going to catch up with it real quick. Broman has stated that the dwarves are always amazing army builder. Um, Thanos has said, looking at the head pack, one of the heads has a neck part. How do I know how that fits with other figures? So, knowing they do this pop and swap mechanic, I think with my expertise that I have, limited as it is, I might be able to jump in on that. So, as we all know, my first Four Horsemen figure, not of exactly the Mythic Legions line, but their figure of Shira, was the Headless Horseman. So, when you get the Headless Horseman, he's got options for his head. He's got this kind of socket on his neck that's not where the head goes. The head doesn't plug right into that. This is a neck piece so that you can do either the flaming pumpkin or the regular pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
And then just simply that, and again, you can't tell because my lighting. There you go. See it on my bald head, the pale bald head. That peg right there, that goes into that top piece. So that's kind of how you do the neck. You add the ball joint for the head, and then you pop the head right onto the ball joint. And Shawn, in your experience so far, is that kind of how those neck pieces all work? I don't know
Correct.
how many figures have it.
Typically the figure that has that will be a figure that has armor for the torso, or like the headless horseman, or now they've come out with another a recent wave, the Xylona's flock wave, where or I'm sorry, that's the Alithia wave, but it's Xylona flock characters in that wave, and they have more of like a leathery armor because they're more like woodland and forest based creatures and things and whatnot. So basically, if you have like here, if you have a torso, a barbarian torso, you just pop off the head, and it's still stuck there. There's no neck peg needed. It's just there's the neck. It's all one part in the torso. But when you get a character with any armor, like Oz, both of his characters have a torso piece like that, then you need that neck peg to pop it into the figure then.
Right. Absolutely. So that I'm digging. Again, we're getting more knowledge here. This is kind of like a Mythic 1.5, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, by accident. Yeah.
It's okay though. I'm all right with that because we can get some of the other smaller need kind of chit chat with some of these things out here. We can still further that education.
Yeah.
So Thanos, again, I haven't scrolled further down in the chat to see if you followed up with anything. I hope we were able to answer that question quite well for you. And Masterversal saying, yes, in my old D&D days, making a story for your characters was a fun task there. Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, they kind of started the whole using toys to play and tell that story like in this kind of format. Like you're building your custom character, like you painted your rogue up the way you wanted to, like with
Yeah.
those old little miniatures that they started using back in the, what was that, 70s.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that kind of play format with this has been there a while. Well, now you could do it in a 6 and 7 inch scale, guys, so enjoy.
Exactly.
Now we've got Broman jumping in with, have you all heard of Savage Crucible 6.5 and 7 inch figures? You know what? I've actually think I have seen some of those. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to get through the chat a little bit and then we'll bring that up a little bit further down here for sure. And with Mythic's lore, I suppose it gives you a bit of leeway to expand upon that mythos and story. Well, yeah, because I mean, as we've heard, it's a little bit limited in some ways, but that's cool because it allows you to build more of your own world.
Mm-hmm. I'd say, like, when I look at it, Mythic Legions to me is, it's what you make of it. If you want it to be about their story, then they have characters that are definitely like tent poles in that story that you should be collecting. If you want it to be your own thing, collect the stuff that you think looks awesome and make it work within your own headcanon. It's versatile, just as versatile as the pop and swaps or the customizing that you can do for the figures.
Absolutely. You know, Gamer Bud has himself like some great headcanon for different stories that he plots out within Masters of the Universe. So, you know, again, getting Origins is a fun way to be able to kind of build on that and do this pop and swap mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have quite as many of the options that, you know, clearly the Mythic Legions have shown here. Um, but some other techniques work too, so that you can pop and swap a little bit more even with those.
Yeah.
But Mythic Legions definitely just gives you a lot of possibilities, and I'm glad I'm getting into it where I'm getting into it because again, the current wave that's up for pre-order now, and apparently what has just come out is like right up my alley. So I'm so happy. Like, hey, this is a good time to get in, but I gotta get to getting this and getting that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
uh,
Next year, I'm more excited too because the two factions they haven't showcased in a while are hopefully the two that they're going to showcase. So the Noble Bear, which is part of what you have in your hand there, and the Sons of the Red Star, which is like their bounty hunter group, and that group has the Skeletor homage in it,
okay,
and
yeah,
He-Man's in the Noble Bear, the Adamon figure. So like I've been waiting because those two are definitely two of my favorites because I like those fringe kind of characters. Usually, it makes me think of like Boba Fett and like Jabba the Hutt's throne room when I was a kid watching Jedi. And the Noble Bear just automatically, it's like, well, that's He-Man. You know, like in my head, I'm just like, that's just Masters of the Universe right there. Let me just play with
right.
give me the bad guys. I'm good to go. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
next year's my year apparently. If they do it the way that people are saying that it'll happen.
That is definitely one of those cool things about it is there's just so much more to come. Like they're
Hmm.
certainly not slowing down.
Yeah.
And I'm always excited about that with a line. Like, you know, again, just because Origins is my wheelhouse,
Hmm.
I'm kind of excited where we're at with Mattel because they're showing that, you know, we've gotten some information from an insider for a couple of years now that they're not going to be able to do toys past 2023, you know, kind of thing,
Hmm.
over and over and over, without the ever thought that that was old, outdated information from a time before
Hmm.
the current state, and to naively kind of think in a lot of ways that maybe they didn't restructure a contract somehow. They've proven without a shadow of a doubt we've got figures going beyond 2023 at this point.
Yeah, I had somebody reach out to me, and he is in touch with the person that you're talking about,
Yeah,
and I'm like, that person's been saying that for a good 10 years, maybe even longer, but he hasn't been with the company for about that long either. And whatever he knew then probably isn't what is going on now because they're investing
exactly.
a lot of time and a lot of money into putting more stuff out. And I don't see a line that's about to be given away to be something they're doing that with. I think it'll stay in house, but I don't know anything behind the scenes. I'm not saying that,
No,
but it's like, why would you put that much money into something like this with the idea of I'm just going to hand it off? That would have been more of like a when they stopped Matty Collector and Classics just kind of was like, okay, we're done with Classics. And then Super 7 came along and at least, grabbed that, they did the slide along the ground, catch the ball, and they at least made the collectors happy to a certain point. That,
right.
carry it on.
Exactly. You know, they were able to swoop in and grab that torch
Yeah,
before it fell out. You know, and I'm glad they did because it kept He-Man alive just a little bit longer and proved to Mattel that there is still a demand for this property, which I don't think if we had that, that we'd be at where we're at today.
agreed. And another one too. I think Mondo helped with that as well because Mondo
Oh,
started
wow.
their figures, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, people are willing to pay $170 per figure because these are characters that matter to these fans. And it's like the fact that it was the weirdest thing when I first got into classics back in 2016. was the weirdest thing to walk down Toys R Us aisles and not see Masters anywhere. But
Hmm.
you got to see, Marvel Legends, Ninja Turtles, whatever. But Transformers. But it's like, where the heck is He-Man? He-Man should be one of the major 4 or 5 I'm looking at. Where the heck is he? Nowhere. You can only find him online.
When I think of walking in a toy store, and there are certain aisles, like growing up, being a product of the 80s, you didn't have the aisle laid out kind of as we know it today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, we had a lot bigger toy departments and toy stores at the time, so there was a more space, more affordability for it. But you walk down an aisle, you had He-Man was this whole side
Mm-hmm.
of that aisle, and this side, this was Star Wars or
Mm-hmm.
GI Joe,
Yep.
but it was the whole way down,
Yep.
kind of thing. And it's funny. This came up today while I was talking with my buddy Chris when he picked me up and we went out. Um, I missed that. Mega J just did a video where he did another YouTuber's channel as they did a walkthrough of Toys R Us New York. Now this is inside of Macy's. This is
Mm-hmm.
not its own standalone unit yet.
Yeah.
It's inside of a Macy's, and it is phenomenal to see how much real estate they have inside this Macy's dedicated to these toys, and you get back a lot of that feel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one thing I like because it's kind of heartbreaking when I walk down the action figure aisle because that's what it is. It's an aisle, like one aisle that's action figures now. One side of it's Mattel, the other side of it's Hasbro, and then they chunk up two little spots at like the very end of it, and that's where you get your other third party kind of companies coming in with your Fortnite guys and your AEW from Jazzwares and
McFarlane.
yeah, well, McFarlane does get at least a decent chunk, especially since he's doing the DC properties, because
Yep.
that's always a big seller. But you don't see as much of his Spawn stuff. It's like
Yeah.
all DC stuff. The Spawn stuff you find more in stores have started to do more of like a collector's department, and that's where you might see some more of the Spawn things than
Yeah.
you do down there. Um, but being able to see him walk through a Toys R Us again and that dedicated real estate where like you're looking at aisles of pretty much like one half this toy brand and then one half this toy brand again. I love that. And I want to see more of it. So guys, if you can this Christmas, get out there and support your Toys R Us. Let them know we want them back. Because I'm a Toys R Us kid and I miss them.
Me too. We have a Macy's like literally 10 minutes down the road from us at the Capital City Mall, and just recently we found out that the Toys R Us finally opened in there, and I hate to say it, but it was not as the same way as New York though, because it's Central Pennsylvania. It's like
Hmm.
it's there, and it's there, but like the Macy's at Times Square in New York is definitely going to be boom. Locally, it's like here's a few things. They didn't even have like Marvel Legends or anything on the shelf at the one that's near us, which shocked me. It was more like Legos. There was Star Wars, and there was a lot of just like dinosaur toys for younger kids,
Yes.
Marvel superhero stuff for like the younger kids, but it didn't get into the diversity of what I would see right now even. So that made me lose a little bit of heart because I'm like, if you don't come out swinging with some of this stuff, are we still going to see this in a year? Like that made me almost like I don't want to see Toys R Us die twice in my lifetime. That's pretty freaking
No.
depressing.
It really is. Like there was that one YouTube like piano player where he ended up he put it in a minor key.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like one of the most depressing songs ever, but it totally captured just the way any of us Toys R Us kids felt at that moment.
Absolutely.
And it's good to see it come back.
Yeah.
And I want it to stick around as an adult toy collector. I my son was like 3 and 4 years old and Toys R Us was closing for
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I took him a few times while they were clearancing out stuff. but he's not going to remember the experience of walking through that kind of toy store.
Mhm.
So while we have this opportunity, I want him to experience that with me. And I want him to have more of that experience because I remember being a kid and you got some birthday money or maybe a gift certificate, not even a card, but a certificate
Mhm.
for Toys R Us or KB or
Mhm.
Kitty City.
Oh, Kansas
Um,
City.
yeah,
Oh,
you remember Kitty City
I
because,
but we lived maybe 10 minutes away from there when I was on East Eager Street down in Baltimore, my friend.
yeah,
Like, man,
yep.
Kitty City, I sometimes will still hum the theme song from their commercial. I still remember that too.
I remember my last store-bought bike was from a Kitty City,
Yeah.
and it was the Huffy Mud Monster, and it was this atrocious purple and orange thing that
Oh,
I just thought was so cool because it had these mud monsters all over
nice.
it.
So, like, I'm trying to think, Kitty City, that one I got a decent amount of my He-Man figures, if I remember right. It was next to Best, and Best was one of those
Best.
that I was completely confused by because I'm like, why do I have to order it? It's right there. Why can't I have that one? Well, that's the store model. Why can't I get Zodak? He's right there. Like, as a kid, it did not make sense. The idea,
None.
here is a store that's open to make a catalog selection and get it delivered to you or whatever. And I'm like, it was like, oh, this is what the internet will become later, but you don't know what that means to you yet. So don't worry about it, kid. But yeah, it's like eBay and all the other groups. Now all of a sudden, it's like that's the only way I shop for anything anymore. But
Yeah.
but no, Kitty City. Oh my God, that makes me so happy because nobody that I've talked to knows Kitty City, and here I am just smiling from ear to ear, going, "You're a Baltimore kid, you get it. I love it."
Baltimore, baby, all the way. And if my sister's still in the chat, she probably remembers Kitty City too, because it was
Oh,
right down from the Woolworth.
yeah. Oh my
Because
gosh.
we had the one that was out in the Parkville area. That
Oh,
was the one that was a little closer to us.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was right down from Woolworth. So, God, all of that is just a blast from the past. None of that is there now. Of course, it's all different stores.
Uh, it's
Um,
it's depressing.
So Thanos Copters chimed in here with, if you look at Big Bad Toy Store, the head pack had the cat and the head looks like it goes almost to the shoulders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. So some of the animal characters, the one of the more recent All Star waves was Torian, who's a Minotaur. They'll have those pieces where it goes down over top, and you're going to get the barbarian torso typically. So it's going to already have the neck peg coming out, and you just slip that on top, pop the head on the top, and then it makes it look bigger because the shoulders are there, and the shoulders are usually it makes it look like there's fur on it, so you can have that like bestial appearance more for that figure then.
Okay. So I definitely have my own shelf canon, but getting to know the world and characters and how the factions relate, it is interesting to me. But I'm a sucker for stories. I agree. I love a good story that ties everything together. So even if I'm making my own headcanon, I like to have the other stories that kind of support that. But that's again one of those new things that I like about New Eternia is they're building a new mythos around the existing
Mhm.
stories that we already kind of know,
That's
and they're twisting them a little. And I like that. I can dig that, and I'm
mm,
really excited for that comic in February. Um, and Black Phoenix again, such a pleasure to actually have you in the live. I only have two Masterverse figures. I only collect Origins and the CGI He-Man line. Yeah, it's good to cherry pick. You definitely want to collect what makes you happy, what's right for your wallet budget, and cherry pick whatever else you like. Because that's the fun of it. You can really just do that. Um, and that's what's best because you're really going to get the most satisfaction that way. You don't have to drive yourself crazy trying to get every little piece.
mhm.
Um, and that takes a lot of stress off. A lot of stress when you don't have to worry about that.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, more people following up with the Origins being their all-in toy line. I totally get it because especially when it started off at like 14.99, it was totally affordable. And the prices have gone up, but it's still not to that unattainable part. But it's almost close enough now to where Masterverse is for their base figures. It's almost like, well,
Hmm.
but again, it's all about what you like and what you don't. And I think all of us are in agreement that we do appreciate the Origins in its proximity to
Hmm.
the original line. And I say that now because they're getting more and more distant from what the original line was about. Like they definitely try to incorporate more of the gimmicks early on. We're not seeing that as much with these later ones. But then again, you'd be looking at almost every figure that's coming from here on out as a deluxe
Hmm.
because they've ran through the gambit of the basic bucks for the most part. Everything else coming out had a lot more gimmick to it or a lot more tooling on the sculpts of the figures themselves.
I was a weird kid because if the figure's gimmick hindered me enjoying the figure as a figure, I didn't care after a certain point with Masters. And even with other toy lines too, it drove me crazy. Like I didn't like in Thundercats that they had the switch on the back to make Lion-O's arm move up and down. I was like, I can do that. Why are you making this be a thing? Why do you? It's like I already know how to move an arm up and down to make a toy do what I want it to do. I don't need the action feature as much. And that
Yes.
with Masters, it's like the twist and the punch action that was never a problem. That was welcome. That was fine. It was a hidden thing that didn't bother me. But when you started getting into like Drag Store, or when you started getting into Buzzsaw Hordak and some of those figures where it's just like it's a gimmick character and we had the buck for it already. It usually I never had Buzzsaw Hordak because I just was like, I got Hordak. Why do I need Buzzsaw Hordak? You know?
Hmm.
But I would get all the He-Man and Skeletor variants because I'd find each of those to be interesting in one way or another. But usually it was about if you can let me play with the figure and let me have my imagination enjoy it, fine. But once
Hmm.
they started going into the whole other thing, it was like, nope, you lost me. Sorry, I just can't enjoy this. But then I want to kick myself to this day still that Scareglow just glowed in the dark and I didn't get him when I had a chance. What the heck was wrong with me that day?
Well, Shawn, you have a chance now.
Yeah, that actually I had the Origins one. I had to go through my purge recently, but I have the classics one up here, and that is never leaving my shelf.
Yeah.
Because I just love the fact that that was a special feature that they still made work in every version to date, one way or another.
Yeah. Masterverse may not have the whole body, but they
Mm,
did make sure that head still had it. And that is so key and important.
yeah,
So Black Phoenix has stated he went to the Toys R Us in the Macy's here a few weeks ago, and he'll be posting pictures to his IG soon.
cool.
So guys, keep your eyes open for that. And again, Black Phoenix, if you just want to go ahead and pop your IG in the chat for everybody, so we can all check that out, that would be great. Uh, so yeah, more about the picking and choosing, which again, it's important to do that. That helps your budget a lot. We're not all rich. We can't just buy everything. I wish I could. Really wish I could.
Hmm.
Um, I see all Mythic is coming out with Tactics game there soon. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. Yeah, there is a Tactics game that is going to be coming out. Again, following them on IG, they've shown a lot of the test stuff because it's actually like Mythic's Tactics is its own IG account, I believe.
Hmm.
And they've been showing like a lot of the graphics along the way, like some of the scenery and stuff and going through. And I was like, that is really cool. And that would be a really neat way to do it. I like the fact that, again, it's, well, as I was just talking, giving away a little bit about Skyrim, I'm a huge fan. I like that. Bethesda does some of the best working games out there. And again, folks, you can be jelly because they're right down here in Rockville, Maryland. You know, as a matter of fact, when I was working for PayPal, it was right across the street from one of their offices. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But be jelly, just be jelly. So yeah, one of the things that I like about that was that ability to build your character the way you like it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mythic Legion Tactics is going to be that very so much is you're going to build the character just the way you kind of like it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, certain things are going to be structured probably like skill trees and stuff just because it cuts down on a lot of the coding they would have to do. But you know, it looks magnificent. And if you're into gaming, check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Mythic Legion Tactics, War of the Aether Blade. So that looks interesting there, and a possible way to reach more people there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like with Motu Cryptoys there for the younger. Yeah, we're not going to dive into that. I cannot. My brain has already started to hurt just because of reading that first part of
All
that
the
sentence.
uh, I will say, if you want in on the game, the one thing that if you aren't even a gamer for the tactics game, what could be really cool is if you like customizing, you could actually go through the game just doing the character setup and deciding what you want to do with the character, and that could be your base model for what you're going to do on the figure then. So
You
that's
know,
that's like it's almost like an AI version of, well, let's make a custom, and then you have the parts available, so like picking from parts you have, but then you can color it however you want within the game, and then you have that as your, this is my base to go in and create this character then, and that's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie. Like just what you said right there just kind of totally blew my mind. Um, Anybody who's been to a Lego store, how they've got the brick bins.
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine like a mythic store or a four horseman store.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go across all of them. Go cosmic legions, mythic legions, figure obscura, parts laid out in the bin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in just bins, and you go through and you know build a bear style, build your own lightsaber style, Lego custom brick, a storefront of theirs where they just have parts, and you walk in and you build.
Yeah.
And how cool would it be for somebody's birthday to take them to something like that? Like, go ahead, glam it up,
Yeah.
glam it up, fam. Yeah, whatever you want, and just buy it. And then like Christmas is coming, and you got that special somebody you're looking for a gift for, and they're a Mythic fan. You're just like, here, do this. I mean, I can see where they already do that some with like these builder packs.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely get, but the idea of just like going through and like you know those old like hardware bins where it's got the little tray and you pull it out and you got all your screws here and then you got
Yep.
your nails over here and just doing that with mythic body parts.
That's how mine look, honestly. Like my wife got me the bins, and they're down here. I'm not going to show you because it's a wreck around me basically, but I have that
Sure.
already, and Jesse has like tackle boxes at home
Yep.
and stuff. So I mean, like the one of their exclusive figures from Legions Con, it was Bill Mancuso, who's worked with the Horsemen for years. He was the guy to come up with it, and he was there during COVID, just in over at the studios, and he just started building a figure based on the parts available, and it became an exclusive this year at Legions Con, and
Nice.
there it is, and it's like, the unknown one, and he's the all black, like demon looking guy with the huge black wings, and it's like, yeah, when you see that, it's like you can see the parts reuse, but you can also see that the parts were used to make a freaking badass looking figure. And
Right.
that's like I said, like you can tell the parts reuse is there. The newer waves have gotten more things that are more versatile and more, here's a bunch of different things that we didn't have to offer before. But even the old stuff is still, if you put it together the right way, you're going to get a compelling looking figure that, I mean, there's people that want to pay triple what it was to buy that at Legion's Con because they couldn't get it at Legion's Con.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's beautiful about it. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. If you buy the individuals and the parts, you can still build what is this exclusive figure,
Yes.
and then you do your own paint app to it.
Hmm. Yeah. I think your idea has some legs though. I think if we get you over to Legions Con this year, you need to start talking to them and tell them this idea because it would open up a whole new world of collecting and people that are involved interested in the line. Because the more I think about that, I'm like, dude, I would go there like quarterly and just start building
Sure.
figures for myself and bring them home and be like, I got a part that I didn't have yet because I didn't buy such and such figure, but I got it over there and now I can make that, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
brilliant idea that I hope they have an ability to do that sometime because it'd
Even
be
if it's an online parts catalog.
that would still be cool. They could do that easily on their website, probably.
Yeah, it would definitely suffice the need. I mean, I get that they want to build the characters and they want to um they want to build out their line, build out the characters, get people to buy the characters. And of course it drives sales. You got to buy multiples of a character because you're trying to do a specific army build and you need this part. Maybe you don't need the rest of that character, but you at least need so many of this part.
Hmm.
Um, so I get that. I do. But think of how many more people you could attract if you could say, "Hey, so like you can build yourself a basic for
Hmm.
40 bucks or something like that."
Yeah.
Of course, certain parts cost more because there's more to it, like the wings or something like that. That might
Mhm.
be a little bit more. But yeah, I would like to see something like that go down. Because again, people that are, you got a guy who he's into like pirates.
Mhm.
So you build him a rogue style character,
Yeah.
kind of thing with like just some leather trousers looking thing on it, like give him a nice jacket, kind of thing. And you buy that for a friend.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you go the full route of Hasbro with the face scan,
Mhm.
but you get them something close to it,
Mhm.
and it's all right.
Yeah.
I think that would be really neat, and I definitely could see where that would start pushing sales in a different direction. I
Mm.
mean, I may complain about microtransactions a lot, but this is one of those cases where that microtransaction makes sense.
Yeah, and I think there's enough people too between the customizer community and even people like me that pop and swap where I'd rather go to them and have it for like if you go on eBay for instance, depending what the part is, you could be paying up to 50 bucks for a certain piece because that's somebody that's a, third party person who says, I just want to make this be 50 bucks. Oh, I know you have a rare thing or whatever. And then it's like, go to the horseman. If you get, they give you hand packs, feet packs, wing packs. Those are things that you can buy from them. And usually they're 20 to 30 bucks. So if you know going in, okay, here's how much I need for these packs and get arm packs, get torsos and whatever. I mean, geez, it might be a little more pricey to do it that way, depending, but maybe they'd find a way to go, well, if you're only getting X amount, like if you're only getting these hands instead of getting the whole hand pack, if you're only getting these feet instead of all the feet, or, that kind of thing. It's like your price might average out to basically a deluxe figure by the end of it all, then. I mean,
Right.
like I'd pay
Absolutely.
bucks to know all those pieces are the way I want them to look like when I leave, or when I get them here and I put them all together.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like I really think that would be cool. And again, like you want to get Jesse a cool present for his birthday and he's looking for a specific part.
Hmm.
Let me just order it, kind of thing.
Exactly.
And boom, done. Like birthday present, done. I got you that
Mhm.
part you needed. Don't buy one yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that would be really cool. I mean, this is just me throwing out an idea there that may never get any kind of traction. And honestly, it'd be cool if it did, but even if it doesn't, I'm not going to be offended by that
I,
because
I think there's enough people that would be right there with you on that, though. It's
Mhm.
you're new to it. It's like you seeing the value in that, while other people are already saying they see the value in it. Yeah, it's from all sides, it's a good idea, and there's no way around that. So
Yeah,
hopefully they can. I mean, they just recently, like in the last week, on their website, finally put gift cards up.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like for the first time in how long this line has been around, now we have gift cards so we can go in, get a gift card, or tell people that we love that want to get something for us, hey, you can get me a gift card and I can buy like maybe a figure and a half now or 2 figures, depending how much it's for or more, and go crazy on Store Horseman whenever there's a pre-order. So if you don't have the cash, but hey, you got your gift cards lined up, you could do an all-in if you had enough money, or you could at least get, your top 3 figures or whatever. And
Right.
so it's like
Right.
these things are happening. But then what I loved, really quick, the one thing that I loved was there were people on the Cabal that were, or not in the Cabal. It was another group I'm in that has a lot of Mythic collectors. But there was somebody that goes, so what do you think of that? And they're thinking that you're going to get a positive response. And there's a lot of guys on there going, I don't like this, because they put right in the rest of the page that you can see all the figures. And the guy's like, now my wife knows how much I'm spending on this. This was not a good idea. It should have been its own page so they don't have to go in and see. Because the one guy goes, I don't want my wife to see how much my dollies cost. And I'm just howling. But at the same time, when I saw what they did, I'm like, oh shit. Like if my wife goes in there now and she sees that, my wife doesn't even fathom $50 for a figure. I mean, it was hard enough for me to explain Mondo Battle Cat to her. So I can just imagine like she goes up there and she sees $500 for an all-in, and I'll just be like, I'm not doing that. Don't worry. Just I really want that gift card. Just give me the gift card.
Well, she'd probably look at you and be like, 500 and what was it, $61 for this all in, and you spend how much
Yeah.
on a single battle cat?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the
I'll
same
tell you
point in
what,
time, there's a different kind of love there.
the thing is, like Mondo Battle Cat, it was a given. I will fight every freaking battle I have to get to the end of that thing. For an all in, depending on the wave, that could be the case. I have yet to see a wave that I need an all in, because I am a cherry picker no matter what I do.
Yeah.
So the Battle Cat, all in. But yeah, so
Yeah, and again, your wife should definitely appreciate that you are a cherry picker, because the completist mentality I get for some people, they got to do it, and they want to do it, and that's fine. Collect the way you like to
yeah.
collect. But I could never be a completist to that kind of level,
Mm-hmm.
just because there's no way to afford it. So I enjoy that I have this ability to cherry pick. And again, there are certain lines where I will try to go all in as reasonably as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's what I'm doing with Origins. But pretty much everything else from there, it's cherry picking what I like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, and I'm trying to teach my son that that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's okay to do, like he's telling me like which lines he wants to complete, and I'm just kind of like, but do you need to? Like,
Yeah.
do you really need that, or do you just really want that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's great because he's starting to see what I'm talking about.
It's difficult, and you and I grew up in a time where collect them all was printed on the back of anything we picked up.
Every
Every single toy line, collect them all. I mean, Transformers was the one when I was a kid where I'd look at the collect them all, and when that fold out that they always had, and I'd laugh at that because I knew my parents were never going to buy me every single Transformer, no matter how much I did right or whatever. It's like He-Man. It depended on the price point. He-Man, GI Joe, Star Wars. Those were more my parents' speed compared to Transformers that were, I forget how much they were, but they were like way more compared
they
to
were.
He-Man or whatever, or Superpowers figure like I liked when I was a kid too. So I grew up with that mentality, and then on top of that, just the love. Like, okay, what figures? If you lost these figures, yeah, it's going to suck that you lost them, but really, is it going to ruin everything about the line for you? That's kind
Right.
of the mentality I've had as an adult comes from. And I went overboard at times because, hey, oh, this is on sale. I'll get this and blah 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 blah. I'll bring all this other
You were
stuff in.
able to
I was
splurge a little.
and I'd find my ways. If I wanted something bad enough, I'd find a way to, like, oh, here, I'm going to sell this to get this or whatever, and I do that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I am one of those people where I want the 8 pack. I want the 8 pack characters, and I want Fisto and Ram Man, and maybe
Hmm.
Buzz and Mech and Neck, Manny Faces, and then, for Skeletor, I kind of want the equivalent, and then anything past that to me is like, that's the cherry on top. If I don't get those, it's not going to matter. Same with Mythic Legions. It's like, I have Rhaegar, I have Adamon. Those two for me are like, yes, I absolutely need those. And then from there, I'm like, some of these I could pop and swap and create without needing to even buy the actual edition. And I could probably do it in a way that makes me more excited for that figure than having the figure sometimes. So
Yes.
it's all about that for me.
Yeah, and I like that, being able to do that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm coming in new. I don't
Yeah.
know a lot. There may be a figure or two from the past that I see that I'm kind of like, you know what? I really want that one. So
Mm-hmm.
let me figure out how I can do that.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
Scapular would be one. Real quick, Scapular was one, and I ended up selling him to offset some bills. But I created a scapular of my own. I just didn't paint him. He typically has red here, and his whole tabard here would be red, but
mhm.
otherwise it's scapular. And I made him out of a more recent figure with
And
a,
that's great.
and I think it looks fine. And he takes that place on my shelf, and I'm like, I don't feel like I lost much at all because I actually like the black look of this more than the red of the original figure. So.
I dig the black with the red highlights in there. I think it looks
Mhm.
great. And yeah, man, that's a great looking figure. Like, I
if
wouldn't be
you get
bad off that
a
at
Gerard,
all.
like Sir Gerard is Sir Gerard and a skeleton legion builder, you can make this within 5 minutes.
Well, there you go.
So if you want to have that figure and you don't want to spend $300 to $400, Sir Gerard, Legion, skeleton legion builder, pop and swap, you're good to go. Simple as
And
that.
there you go. The economic friendly version to do it.
Yep.
Um, and so Thanos Copter brings up a very good point. And as being a recovering addict myself, uh, even though I'm all in on Origins, I know that completion mentality is an addiction and a compulsion, and it absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you get your fix some way or another.
Yeah.
Retail therapy can be its own addiction, like that need to just spend money whether you really have it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to not get yourself caught into these things to try and fill a void that something else is missing. And cherry picking really allows you to navigate better through that. Now, I'm not saying it's the right way to collect, absolutely not. Again, collect how you can, collect what makes you happy, and enjoy your collection. But I will say, if you're looking at your collection and it's not bringing you joy, revise it. Go
Mm-hmm.
back and think about, how can I do this differently so that I still enjoy what I'm doing? Because at one point when you were collecting, you did enjoy it.
Yeah.
So then there was a reason for that. So revise it, revise your strategy, revise what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but collect your passions though, and enjoy those things. And don't be afraid to share those passions with others. That's the biggest thing that I've loved about this community. It's been a reoccurring theme with Skelevator and myself, is this sharing of passions. Every guest we have on this show, we're sharing our passions, down to the first episode that we shared on Toy Frenzy, where we were talking about the CGI He-Man and how we were really into it. And Skelevator wasn't. He wasn't fully sold at the time. He was still kind of catching up on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we shared that passion with him, and he did. He dived in a little bit deeper, and he got more sold on it as it went.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Justin Rush from Stump Puppets, his passion for that motion, the stop motion, and where that's taken him.
Sure.
Share your passions with others, folks, because you never know who's going to inspire to do something next.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier tonight we talked about Gamer Bud getting on live. He's been inspired. Um, there's been several different fans of the show who are inspired now and rethinking about what they want to do and try to put themselves out there. And I think that's great. So this is igniting kind of a new passion in me, but it's still right there along with everything else that I've had. And Shawn, you have helped ignite that. You've helped me bring the bear into the world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's honestly one of the greatest things ever. And I will definitely be saving the packaging for this because that was like one of the first things I noticed when I pulled it out of the box was that bear emblem on the side of the package.
Yep.
Um,
Double bear. Yep.
so I am down for that. And this has been great, but I think we're really going to wrap it up here. So I've just kind of had my last thought or my final thought for the night. Uh, Shawn, anything you want to add on to that or say to the fans out there?
Yeah, basically like I did not expect to be even doing what we're doing right now about a year ago. And between Oz and Skelevator, you guys are bringing a lot of positivity, and I love that you guys are constantly saying collect what you love and make it work how you can make it work. And there have been other places out there that they do the collect them all mentality, and you have that FOMO problem. And for me, hearing collectors who are passionate but also realizing there's a lot going on for some people, you can't do it all maybe, so enjoy what you have. I love that. That message is amazing, and it's something that I love coming on here. Either if you or Skelevator ask me on, I'm always happy to do it because that message should not be lost at all. It's a great message to have with how life is for some people right now. So I always want to say kudos to you guys for having the positivity, but also the presence of mind to go enjoy it. Don't let it bring you stress. Don't let it bring you crazy. Enjoy it and have fun with it. So other than that, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next time the Mythic 2.2 or 201 or whatever we're calling it instead of 101. And
Right.
Jesse will definitely have a lot to say on that, I'm sure, because he's also a lot more deep in the trenches on the lore. I'm definitely more the, I love this stuff. What's the lore? There's stuff. Go on the line and check it out. I love this. Look at figure. That's me. I'm that guy. So that'll be great because I really enjoyed that last weekend as well, and I'm looking forward to coming back and talking more shop. So thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely, man. Like as soon as I found out that this package was showing up, and then definitely when I got here yesterday, I was like, oh man, it took every part of me not to open that box
I wouldn't have
because
blamed you.
I wanted to so bad, but I wanted it to be the surprise that it was opening it and you getting to see that reaction as I saw what you sent me. And
Mhm.
that was important to me.
Sure.
So I'm really happy I had the fortitude to wait it out and be able to do this tonight this way, even with the odd lighting setup. That will definitely be corrected by the time I have Toy Frenzy this upcoming week, everybody. Um, Actually, hopefully it'll be again. If you guys want to catch me live once again, God, I'm doing these almost every day now. I gotta start thinking about that. Tomorrow, figuratively speaking, it's John Westby's channel. He's going to be going live for his debut tomorrow. So I will be jumping on that with him. Giving him a big send off, helping him with his premiere. So if you guys want to see me again, you can always catch me on that. Got Toy Frenzy coming up later this week. I'll be jumping on that. And if I can manage it somehow tomorrow morning, I might be joining Toy Connections Ken for an episode of TKO. So lots of places. If you guys are enjoying the content I'm bringing and you enjoy hearing me talk about this stuff, definitely jump on and check me on those channels. Uh, Shawn, where are you going to be coming up aside from Mythic 201 on the 10th?
That's it so far because I found out the Dooch did his big move, and today he let me know that he didn't have internet set up yet. So he's got to get that going this week, I think. And so we're waiting to do a new episode of Legends of Grayskull. So hopefully I'm hoping this week or next week at the latest, we get another episode out because we have definitely been few and far between recently.
Yeah, for sure. I've certainly been missing that presence. And I can't wait until you guys get up and running again and are doing more. I'll be around.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping soon, and we got to get him on as well again because I know he had a lot of fun the last time with the Toy Frenzy one that we did with everybody, if I remember right. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving, yes. He I know he enjoyed that, and he was like, "Oh, I don't have to do anything. I can just enjoy being a guest, kind of like my Slacker co-host." I'm just like, "Yeah, thanks. Okay, here we go again."
Well, you know what? Absolutely. We'd love to have you guys on at any time. I know this week, coming up for Toy Frenzy, we'll be having Masters of the Mini Comics.
Oh,
He will be coming on. So if you guys haven't checked him out, he narrates the gold books, the mini comics, and as a matter of fact, our very own Duchess of Darkness has done uh, a line for him so far, and will be doing more in the future. That's her contribution more directly into, I mean, aside from just supporting all of us in our different endeavors and subscribing to our channels and being present all the time. She's trying to get a little bit more involved into the Motu world because she really enjoys being here with all of us, and that's great. So that'll be coming up this week. So everybody tune in for that episode of Toy Frenzy. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
very
But then, yeah, we will definitely be happy to have you and the Dooch back. And honestly, like, you know what? It's really fun having somebody who was so local and so close to home, and here we are. We never met in our youth,
hmm
uh, but some 40 years later, we found each other anyway, and we're still sharing this and doing these things. Like, gosh, I've seen you. You and I have been doing weekly shows for like the past 2 to 3 weeks now,
hmm
in some way, shape, or
hmm
form, and I think that's great. I love it. I think it's awesome, and I love getting on here with you and talking shop. So we'll definitely do it again really soon.
It's
Uh,
crazy that He-Man does that. Like, I didn't have a lot
I
of
know.
friends as a kid, but now that I'm older, I know He-Man's all over the world, and there's people all over the world that I've met. And I'm like, man, when I was a kid, it was just me on East Eager Street, just playing with my toys, and now, boom, I'm still loving He-Man as much as I did back then. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
and you don't feel alone about it either because there's
no,
so many of us that just loved He-Man, and we were all like that, couple of kids in the neighborhood maybe that got together and played, but not a lot, and you were
mhm.
normally made fun of by some of the other kids at the
Oh,
playground that weren't playing He-Man, that had their GI Joes or whatever.
yeah.
So it's really great that now we can connect. It's our time. We're having fun, and look
Mm,
at what we're building. This is incredible. This online community of Motu fans.
absolutely.
So we're getting the goodbyes here from everybody, which I love. We've got Thanos Copter. Thanks, Oz and Sean. Another great episode. Thanos, thank you for making it. I know you said you were late coming in at the first part and then you popped out and came back in. It's fantastic, man. I appreciate you being here every week. I really love chatting with you. Saying good night to everybody. Duchess has said this has been another great stream. Sean is always a great guest. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
And Scott Baker, who's been laying low tonight, saying thanks, guys. Absolutely, Scott. Good night, everyone. Thanos Copter, take a day off, Oz. We will understand.
Yeah, you need to pace yourself, man. Don't get burnout.
Well, chances are what I'll be doing soon is definitely taking several days off.
There you go.
Maybe not shows, but days off.
There you
Where my online presence will be almost non-existent.
go.
So we will see where that goes. Backed up a little bit there, and we saying we miss you, Dooch. Absolutely, we all do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Good night at Duchess, and high five for the Duchess of Darkness. Absolutely. I'm so excited that she's been joining us. And here you guys go. Her line in there. And again, that's what we're really hoping for, is that, she'll be recording many lines for future episodes that he'll be doing. Because it's really great seeing the collab work between the different narrators across many platforms. Is Duchess has appeared on several other horror narrators channels, so it's always great trying to run around and catch all of her. She's popping up all over the horror narrations like I'm popping up all over these toy YouTubes.
Mhm.
So,
Very
but
cool.
it's a lot of fun. Again, we like sharing the passions with people for the things that we like. So, all right, everybody, it's been a pleasure tonight. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you later this week. Take care, everybody.
Good night.